Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden symbols and messages, as well as all the lyrics of all the top rock songs. And they all sing the same refrain. It's fun.
This is a special request. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimedia, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it ganja.
Welcome to the Adam Dunn Show. I guess I'm still Adam Dunn. And I got Mitch with me today, Mitch Shanasa.
Nice, you nailed it.
Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio.
What the hell's going on? So we are here live at the iCannabis studio. Got Mitch here because Mitch is a very good insider on the industry. So basically, he's my gossip queen. So we've got a gossip guy now.
Awesome. That's
you gotta,
what I've always. Adam Dunn's gossip queen.
He didn't know that either. He didn't even
going
know.
On my LinkedIn right now.
As we were coming here, he's wondering what we're going to talk about, but now we know. Pure gossip. No, we're going to just talk about. Well, we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. The daily, weekly things that go down in this cannabis industry, of course, but. We're going to talk also about him and I were talking on the way up here, and it seems like right now all the news out there is fake. So we're going to talk about all the fake news out there and all the people who got suckered in to believing that it was real. Wow, we got a full studio now. Full studio. D-Money in the studio. Blabbermouth James in the studio. And Mumbly Mumbles in the studio. We got a whole crew now. Nice. Didn't even know. So we are going to talk about all the great fake news out there that just seems to be like never ending, and predict what the next fake news is, maybe.
Or real news.
Yeah, or even real news. We may even pull out some real news out of this show. Who knows? I'm going to make some phone calls too. We got a few people to call. We'll kind of like let them. We'll tell you as they go along. I don't want to make it too exciting because we don't even know if they're going to answer. First of all, we got to check to see if they're really there, if they even want to talk to us. But then, if you want to call us, 720-381-1420, give us a call, ask us anything, because we know everything. Obviously, within the borders of this room is knowledge of everything. I think pretty much, right? Look, we're getting surrounded here. I feel like I'm in an Indian. I feel like I'm in like. We're getting surrounded out there. Suits, man. Suits all around us. I'm getting nervous.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Warren. It's all right. It was one of the few suits I can deal with. So we were talking about fake news, and I think the number one fake news out there that everybody is so excited about, and I would love to burst everybody's bubble, is about the stupid hoverboard crap that I keep seeing. It's like, come on, guys. Come on now, people.
Every day it's something new.
Grow up, people. I mean, obviously, we all want it to happen. And you know, when you see the guy from Back to the Future is telling you it's real, and it's like, Jesus, there's no morals anymore. Now you just tell everybody everything's real, and it's fake. Of course it's fake. You know, like, when did that happen? When can we just blatantly lie and now it's cool? It's happened. That just happened like about a couple months ago. So now it's cool to lie. Dead people everywhere. Smoking weed.
In Colorado, the killing is rampant in Colorado due to cannabis legalization.
Pretty much, like, I think the Onion has taken over the media as far as the mentality. You have the Daily Courant, the Onion. You have all these different things, and it's like, wow. Almost especially late at night, is when you can get suckered the most, because, you know, you're about to go to bed, and then I told everybody before, I thought the Pope was gay because they said it. I was like, oh man, the Pope's gay. This is crazy, right? I went to bed, woke up next morning, and I was like, what an idiot, dude. I can't believe Thank God I didn't get on and start, whoa, the Pope is gay. I can't believe, I didn't.
No, Facebook, dude, is a fucking king for this.
Yeah.
There's two situations. One, people are just fucking stupid and pass shit along as fact.
Yeah.
And two, they pass shit along like it happened yesterday, and it happened in 1998.
Yeah,
and
that's
they're
the
like,
best.
oh my God, look at this.
Yeah.
This puppy was killed by his owner. Hung in the closet by his owner. Here's a picture of him. Go out and get his kids. I'm like, dude, you're going to do the time rendition and give you a picture of him now? Because that happened in 10 years ago.
No, it is funny, and people are getting more gullible by the minute. It seems like it's like,
and
really?
there's times like I had one the other day. Someone posted this article, and it was like, "Oh, the Pope said all religions are valid," and it was like really like your Pope. They seem to all be about the Pope.
The Pope's big news these days.
But now Facebook, because it does like the you may also be interested in right underneath. So I was like real psyched on that news, and I wasn't necessarily going to share it, but I was going to bed a little happier. And then Facebook is like, you might also be interested in Snopes.com. This story is fake as hell. You're an idiot. Like
exactly,
which is good for things like the hoverboard, but obviously they didn't catch on.
No. But did you? You didn't even see it yet.
No, I don't because I have a built-in bullshit detector.
Yeah, no, it was hilarious. I mean, I had to comment real quickly on that one because it just was like, come on, people. Tony Hawk looked like he couldn't even ride it. It was really weird. He was all stiff, and then some girl is like doing tricks over the top of the ramp at like 25 feet up in the air. I was like, there's nothing out there that's going to launch you 25 feet in the air and carefully bring you back down. It's like, it's not going to happen. Sorry. Maybe one day, about 35 years from now, probably.
But your point is, it's going to, like the military, as soon as that technology is out there.
Oh yeah, no, I already said what we were saying earlier. If those were real, Bin Laden would have been killed for real with the hoverboard. So it would have been like double real. There would have been two realities that would have happened. First, he would have actually been killed, like for real, and then it would have been done with hoverboards because there's no way they would sneak in. There'd be no footprints. Why would they not have it? No, we're going to let some MIT guys do it, and then they're going to bring it to a parking lot, and they're going to have Moby ride on it. Come on now. That was ridiculous. It was like every 2 seconds it got worse. Then they brought in like that rapper guy that was just like stoned and useless. Like, wow, they told me it was here. I couldn't believe it, bro. Wow.
Funny or die.
Exactly. But I think the best part is to see now people still like, oh, it's finally here. I'm getting 2 of them. I'm like, yeah, good luck. You know what I mean? Good luck.
I'm getting 2 of them.
Yeah, of course. I would have 6 of them. All of us would. But, sorry, people. It's not real.
Not yet.
Not yet. What other quick news?
That's as bad as the jackasses. How many times have you seen the picture of the inside of the DeLorean? With the date. Like
today's the day.
I'm like, how many fucking times are you idiots going to fall for this? Like, if I see one more person share it, I might knock on your door. Like, seriously, revoke your Facebook card.
I saw someone freaking out about it. Like last week, they're like, today's the day. Today's the day. I've seen it at least 15 times.
Yeah. Every couple months. I'm like, really? You guys are...
Or, recently, though, the Justin Bieber
Was there 5 different dates in the...
No, but there's a thing called Photoshop.
And they just Photoshopped
it. The date just keeps changing, and they're like, oh my God, how crazy. Today's the day. Today's the day they went back. I'm like, no, you jackass. Today's the day some other kid got bored.
And Photoshopped it.
Put a new date in. Oh, look at this.
Do we know what the real date was?
I can't even... I actually had it somewhere.
I'm sure we have passed... There was a day when... I remember there was a day, because it was all over, and it was a big day. But that was one day. It can only happen once, right?
And I don't even know if that was the real day, given exactly what we're talking about here.
Wow. Right. What a mysterious world we live in.
And with the internet, this is what I always say. The internet in like 1990, before like the average person could get on, was fucking awesome. Like if you want to know more than the average person, you went on the internet in 1990.
Interweb, you mean?
There wasn't a web.
I think it was the interweb. I think it was the web. Interweb.
Back then, it was like pre-web. It was like Usenet. And then 2000, okay, now you have AOL, and it's starting to get a little dumber.
No,
but right now,
I would say that because the first one was what the hell was the name of that service?
I had Prodigy back in the
day.
Yeah,
Prodigy came. It did like, and then AOL was like, God, these guys.
CompuServe. Don't forget CompuServe.
Yeah, but by CompuServe, you're only connecting it like the highest connection was like 1,200 baud.
Oh yeah.
And so to read and write 7 emails would take you 45 minutes.
No way. There just was no graphics, dude. It was text only.
Well, that's what I was doing from the beginning, is always inserting a picture.
Oh, yeah. That's like,
I'd send, and it'd take 15 minutes to send.
Sharing music, and it's like wave files to take 2 hours.
Yeah, 15 minutes to send actually would cost, because I remember back in the day, we would pay $8.95 an hour for internet service, and my dad got a bill one month for like $2,000. Like, what are you doing? And I was all downloading like shit that would take hours and hours and hours. The only viable thing that was quick was like instant message, chat rooms. Like you get on there and be like, yeah, just literally that was it. Anytime you tried to download pictures, It became a
But
nightmare.
then what happened when the internet got fast? Then animated GIFs. Like every idiot had to put fucking 10 dancing cats and sparkles on their page. See? You give
But
people
you're already
technology.
in the 2000s.
Yeah, but this is like the curve, man. Like you give people more and more technology, and they're like, "Oh, we can do more shit. Let's do stupid
cats.
shit."
Dancing
Yeah.
cats,
Let's
of
not do
course.
awesome shit and like give them more information faster in some science fiction way, like dancing cats.
Yeah. Well, thank
I
God
think
for dancing
it
cats.
happens to be where you visit on the web. I don't see many dancing cats.
I
in
don't
my
think people would have
Do you
much.
remember MySpace?
I do remember MySpace.
I still have a page.
I
There's
have
a
a
page
MySpace
out.
account somewhere. I
There's-
found a bunch of pictures
yeah.
of myself on
I
my
know.
MySpace
we
page.
still have one from TH Seeds or
They're
from,
retooling it or something. Well, I think like Justin
fuck
Timberlake
Justin
bought it or something.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake bought it and he's making it into something cool now. It's supposed to be cool now
because he's the expert on cool.
It's already
Well, send me my fucking password, Justin Timberlake, because I've been trying to get a hold of fucking those contacts for quite some time.
yeah, it's pretty interesting to see your old page up though, isn't it? Like you're like, wow,
Right.
stuff's still out there. It's like that's what I always knew about internet that I kind of stayed away from it at first. Was it's like literally your dirty laundry everywhere. Just like let me hang my dirty laundry out everywhere and just forget about it. And then people go like, dude, are you
The
kidding
best
me?
is
Like,
people are so stupid still that they can put something up and then delete it several minutes later, like it's gone.
yeah.
Like I seen even like 50 Cent just put a picture up of he put a picture up of like Diddy and Steve Stout like almost kissing, and then like Diddy and who else? I think Rick Ross. I think like in a
Which Rick
in an
Ross? Which Rick
awkward
Ross?
yeah the rapper Rick
The fake Rick
the
Ross.
prison
Fake
guard
Ross.
Rick Ross.
Yeah, exactly.
So the moment of the camera caught him, looked like they were kissing, and 50 Cent tweeted it or Instagram or something and said, "I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying." And then it says he took it down like 4 minutes later. But in the picture, it already had like 15,000 likes, 20,000
shares.
reshares.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude, you got to be kidding me,
Yeah, that shit's out there.
right? Get Ellen's picture back. That's not even Ellen's picture. I found out.
What you mean?
The most tweeted picture in all of history.
Oh, yeah, the one that crashed the twit.
Yeah, literally, Ellen shut down Twitter because she took a selfie at the Oscars
2 million
that
times,
has
got
like
2 million downloads. Like, within
it had so many people in it. Like it was funny because the other day I didn't realize like Angelina Jolie is up in there in the corner, and then you got that Kevin Spacey. I didn't realize that he's right in the middle in the back. I'm like, oh damn, look at all these people.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many people. There's all like. She put it on Twitter or whatever, and it was the most retweeted picture ever. And
after
it
Obama,
shut down.
Obama and Michelle or something.
No, it
Broke the
eclipsed
internet?
that.
Oh no, I'm saying after that. Like that went past that, but that was the most tweeted.
Yeah,
before.
before it was
the Obama and Michelle.
no. The most retweeted thing ever was Barack Obama's tweet of 4 more years,
Was his own selfie or something.
and then he like got that shared, and then she put this out, and then yesterday I read a big controversy that she doesn't own the picture. It was her cell phone, but that Bradley Cooper dude is the one who snapped the photo.
Interesting.
So he owns the copyright.
Is that how that works? If she owns the equipment,
so he owns. It doesn't matter who owns the equipment. It doesn't matter where it was. The Oscars don't own it. Ellen doesn't own it because it's her phone. Bradley Cooper owns the rights to to that picture because he's the one that snapped it.
Wow.
And he
It's
would
his
have
creation.
to. He would have to give the rights to other people. So they're like, yeah, if you want to use this picture, I'm like, yeah.
good luck.
Great, dude.
Has it been not used about 16 billion times already?
But that's hilarious that it's not your equipment.
Well, that just
It's
shows
not-
you. That shows you. Be careful who you let use your camera because
Right.
they might get an award-winning photo on your
Yeah,
camera.
you're
You're
like,
like, no.
I wonder if that
could've
carries
done
over
that.
to other things. Like if you use someone's equipment to make oil, do you own that oil?
right? Oh, this is mine, son.
Dude, Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper
Cooper
rules.
versus-
That's the Cooper versus DeGeneres 2014.
Right.
Booyah. That's a good one. See, you got to keep that in back of your mind.
That's why you guys keep a Jew around. Come on.
Exactly. So what else? We had some good ideas on the way. This is how it always goes. You drive here we were just snapping ideas back and forth.
Are we still doing fake news? Are we
About
done with fake
80%
news?
of them we can't do. That's the problem because we're like, damn, we can't. It's not. There's always a missing either somebody we can't talk about or something that's too. Everything's top secret these days. Have you noticed that?
Well, yeah, that's
Everything is top secret.
that's the age.
How many? Everybody has to sign like non-disclosures for everything. Life.
I don't sign a non-disclosure for anything.
No, I haven't signed shit, but I'm saying people are
I don't
making
have
everybody.
to be quiet. I
Oh
choose to
shit!
keep the peace right
Here
now.
he goes. Oh, I thought we were going off. That was it.
Oh, we could talk about.
Oh, we
that
saw
was the
Tim
best
Martin.
idea.
We saw Tim Martin.
We did. We may have been followed briefly by
think
Tim
so.
Martin. Tim Martin on the way.
I
over
believe. If you're out there, Tim, listening, were you following me? Because I swear to God, there was a guy for like right from the shop. It was like he was waiting at the shop. I know he has a license now too, so I'm just
No
wondering.
way. License and a car though.
And a car.
We didn't say it was his car.
I swear
he
to
was
God,
in a car.
It was crazy, dude. It was like, whoa, Tim's behind us. I thought it could have been. I mean, I was ready to, so
He must have been checking to see if I was in the car. He's gonna try and run you off the road or something.
Oh,
man, fuck Derek.
you can't take that stuff too serious.
Who?
The man fuck Derek. He can't be like running you off the road. Not yet.
Me? I'm not running anybody. off
No,
the
I'm saying
road.
nobody can run you off the road. Yeah, you can't. Nobody can take that stuff too serious. It's like, dude, this is a website.
I've already been ran off the road enough.
So yeah, I think the weather's over, right? Speaking of running off the road, I saw how many cars did you see off the road today? I saw
Dude.
like everywhere I went, there was
There
cars
was
off the road. It was like,
105 car
oh yeah, well,
pile
forgot about-
up.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
That doesn't happen. That happens like on the Autobahn.
That happens on
doesn't
chips.
happen
That happens on chips.
Yeah, it was the day
In the
that it was icy.
'70s, when there wasn't even that many cars on the road, they just happened to crash. But you got to jump through the tractor trailer truck. That was a difference. Like, these guys got jackknifed, and somebody got killed, which is
I
unfortunate.
was gonna
But
say rest in peace because
Yeah.
somebody did perish in that.
and I think
melee.
that was the whole real accident, and everything else after that was just sliding on ice because it must
Well,
have been
dude,
it
people
must
are
have been
fucking
sheer ice.
stupid in Colorado. 4-wheel drive. 4-wheels slide just as fast as 2 wheels.
Bro, I got a Subaru. What do you mean? Yeah.
Unless you're steel-studded chains, you're not stopping.
Well, the
on-
thing is, with 4-wheel drive, the minute you start getting any kind of speed up, you're going sideways anyway because that's the way they go. They crab out on you. So it's like you're almost better off in 2-wheel drive to a
Pulling the
point.
wagon.
To a point, and then front-wheel drive is probably even the best. I
Yeah.
mean, but in general, if you have it, 4-wheel drive is really great on the mountains, real great on situations like that. But on the highway, it's definitely not a great idea.
No.
The minute it starts to move, you're like Mr. Jackknifer yourself. You're like, okay, now this is not looking so hot. But yeah, I saw cars on that. I looked through the whole photo stream on that thing, and cars weren't even near each other, so it was kind of weird. It was like people were just sliding out and ending up in
It's
weird.
because people follow too close in Colorado.
Yes,
and
that's for sure.
If there's a crash in front of you, you better hope the fucking jackass behind you is not updating their fucking Facebook page or playing Tapped Out or doing some fucking
who would be doing that?
Flappy Birds or
Nobody
something.
would be. Nobody would be.
Of course, oh shit, wham,
Donuts. Booyah.
right? Donuts.
Donuts.
That's why you gotta buy donuts, speed up time,
Dough.
so you ain't gotta be playing on the road.
That's it. But no, that was crazy. No, but today I saw just tons of cars. It wasn't even like it wasn't. I mean, it was pretty gnarly. That week we went home last night. It was pretty gnarly. It was like the biggest snowflakes I've ever seen. Instantly covered the road, but it was like this morning there was every loser car that couldn't make it home. You know what I mean? It was like, look at that little thing. It was like even at the bottom of our road there was like a BMW, like a 7 Series BMW. I'm like, well, what are you? You can't get up the road? Are you kidding me? Like it was weird. It was like it was definitely one of those.
Because it rained. It was raining hard.
Yeah, there was, but there was. We
heard
saw at
those guys
least
snoring
3
under the
cars
table.
getting pulled off the side of the road today, like that had gone off the road last night. It looked like so. But I think the danger's over. It feels like for the moment we've got a little clearing.
It's
It's
gotta.
Colorado.
We
It's
have
Colorado.
to get dumped on the week of 420, or else it's not. It has to dump the week of 420, and then it has to be like 80 fucking degrees on 420 every year.
Yeah.
Or else it's not
It's
420.
kind of the way it happens. So far, the last couple of years has been like that.
Yeah, since I've been here at least.
Well, it's funny that people think. I mean, they're like, "Oh, it's March, it's springtime." I'm not sure, but I think March might be Colorado's snowiest month. And
Yeah.
people are stupid and don't realize every year they're like, "Oh, springtime." I've just heard them talking about this morning how many lakes were opening up for boats, and I'm like, "Dude, are you stupid? You don't realize first of all that water is still barely above freezing."
Yeah, you don't want to go in that one.
And you have you've got a month still, and literally the past few years we've got snowstorms in May.
Oh, yeah.
Like blizzard.
Yeah.
In May,
Dude, it definitely
So we've
dumps
got
harder
quite
March,
a bit more
April.
snow coming, and people
yeah.
are like, "Woohoo, springtime!"
Oh yeah, no, I love it when it gets like this, where it is like it is proper spring. But yeah, this is Colorado too. You gotta remember where we are, how high we are up, how high we
Like,
are.
the best is like I lived in like maybe 10 years ago. I was living in my condo in Fort Collins, and there was a spring storm on like March 7th or something, and it brought down like 10 inches in like the first overnight, and it like started shutting things down. But then it snowed for like 2 days, and it's March, and there's literally like 3 or 4 feet of snow. I had me, my roommate, and a friend of mine all got trapped at my condo.
Yeah, the budget for the plowing is definitely over in March too.
Dude,
you know, they don't have, if they had any money left, they'd
throw the grass down,
They're
dude.
like, whatever, spend it on grass and whatever,
trees all over town. Trees were broken over. The roof of fucking Best Buy collapsed, and like they showed like the aerial photograph, and it was just like they actually took all the shit from Best Buy or all the shit from Bed Bath & Beyond and moved it into the parking lot in a tent somewhere, and had like a parking lot sale of all the shit that got the snow crushed it.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's because in the spring, like yesterday, it was raining, and all of a sudden it switched over, and it's like the biggest bomber flakes ever. You're like,
heavy ass.
That's what breaks limbs and crushes cars.
There's the cycle of like, you know, this is the part that people miss here. Like we're surrounded by mountains and like the wind, and so like it snows. And then the snow evaporates. It's beautiful. It's sunny. And all the water that's in the snow goes in the air, and it goes to the mountains and gets stuck on the mountains. And you're like, oh, the mountains are pretty. It's covered in snow on the mountains, and it's warm out. Sweet. And that melts, and then it comes back. And, like, people don't – and you get that shit where it's, like, every fucking weekend it's snowing. Like, it's 60 degrees during the week, and then Friday afternoon it starts to dump, and then you get stuck in the cycle. I don't know.
Somebody's claiming 2003 that was a big year for that, I guess. They said spring break, March 2003.
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago or 11 years ago. It was fucking crazy, dude.
Got stuck in my Jeep.
Yeah. Dude, it was ruthless. It was ruthless snow. It was so heavy, like you couldn't shovel it. You couldn't do nothing, dude. You were just stuck. Yeah, everybody was making the coolest snow forts and all this shit. But it was like 5 days or something that it stayed cold enough that the snow didn't melt, and you were just shit out of luck. Like nothing was going on. Companies were shutting down. Every school.
Oh yeah, we had another fake story, the Colorado Rocky Brownie story.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was so fake to begin with. I didn't even have to like.
Yeah, those ones I don't even read anymore.
Like,
There's
wasn't even acknowledged.
The Broncos.
That one
the
was,
Broncos. Everybody's getting them high in the stadium.
No, the best
Broncos
was,
are acclimated.
Yeah, the best one was that they would go into the other locker room. Basically, they said that they would leaf blower them without saying leaf blower them, but they said they blasted them with smoke of the opposing teams, and that's why they were that's why they lost or something. So definitely not true.
I love the fact not only that Facebook reposts these, but that politicians quote them and like real news sources will pick them up.
Yeah. There's been like police chiefs that had to go on the record and recant their statement about Colorado and the deaths caused by marijuana.
Oh, yeah, it was I think also even the Swedish, one of the Swedish parliament people also, same thing. She had tweeted it, and then basically was like, when she gets in next year, that's the first thing she's going to do is get rid of this menace. Cannabis, and it was like, are you kidding me? That's so like reefer madness right there, and it just shows how quickly people just forget. That
dude, what's up with the Swedish and reefer? I recently read a Swedish baby study.
Don't get me in trouble now.
Yeah. They don't like weed though in Sweden. I thought they were like super libertarian.
They love sex but not weed.
Is that how it works?
Sex but not weed. Okay. Weird. I don't know what. No, they're definitely obviously weed smokers there, but it's just weird because it's kind of like it's thought of more as an illness.
Like you have a substance abuse disease type thing.
Yeah, and that's why they made a mistake, I think, because they treated it as an illness and created this disease of cannabis psychosis, which doesn't exist, and that was a while ago. And then they had a lot of homeless people would just go, "Oh yeah, I got cannabis psychosis," which is like the saying, basically, I like to smoke weed a lot, and just I'm kind of lazy, which is lame. That's what they.
Lazy. I'm sick of that. Lazy people are lazy fucking.
Exactly,
people.
And those are homeless guys who are like going for the easy way because it's like you're not a heroin junkie, you're just a weed guy, which is what an easy thing that is.
You don't have to be homeless. Like, you're just lazy.
Yeah, that's pure. I mean, because there it's total social system where everyone can have a house, and it's not like if you're homeless in Sweden and you're smoking weed, and the cops can have a right to pick you up and put you in for treatment and all that kind of. So it's kind of like got that whole stigma built into it.
Well, speaking of stigma and idiots and stupid news, and we can always consider our governor in there, but the governor of California, are you out of your mind? You're calling, like just the other day I read an article where he's basically calling marijuana users lazy.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that they're not in charge because then nothing would get done.
Right.
I'm like, how stupid are you? Like, too bad everybody's still in the closet because there's your own peers looking at you on your Capitol Hill, looking at you like an idiot.
The
like,
only business that works in your state.
And you're talking about laziness instead of saying, hey, man, why don't we figure out how we can fill our coffers with some of that loot?
Yeah, and not only that, the Cali growers, especially NorCal, are definitely not lazy growers.
Dude.
They're like the only one. They're the hardest working people in the business because they have to start early, be at their depth tents every day,
It's like real farming. Like when
proper,
you think
it's farming with the stress on top of never knowing whether it's going to be the last year you can do it or whatever, because who knows? And it's like making hay while the sun shines, and those guys are working their asses off. So, yeah, definitely not a very smart statement when it comes to like the idea that California is pretty much. I think that's their biggest cash crop out there. There's no other thing that's out there making
definitely
it. So it's already blowing. So
and they're
obviously
not benefiting from it.
And they don't have migrant workers.
Idiots.
And they don't have migrant workers working in their place.
Right.
It's all homegrown by real people here. So that's where he makes big mistakes because you're talking about and the problem is
you alienate yourself.
They're not a voting. He doesn't care because they're not a voting. They're not a voting chunk.
Start voting, jackasses.
They all voted against legalization.
Well, in general,
exactly.
They voted for that one. They tipped that scale. But
they definitely don't want it to be legal, and that would be the only problem. That's why their voting doesn't work because they're looking.
Tyrannosaurus Rex wanted to jerk off. look where that got him.
Yeah,
never worked out for him, and he's oil now. That's what they are, dinosaurs. If you're still if you're holding out for marijuana to be illegal so you can profit on it, fuck you. I hope you die on marijuana falling on your head because you're so fucking ignorant.
Because there's so much of it around,
that's literally, I don't want to equate it to any other struggle, but the sympathizers that are the ones that are making it the hardest for us at the end, they're the ones that I want drugging out with pitchforks. Get sweet. I'm glad you made your whole life off this. Move on now because you like I've said over and over, people holding out for the expense of cannabis, it's becoming legal. And if fucking Dole can figure out how to make a profitable company selling heads of lettuce for $1,
right?
Best believe that there's going to be a lower cost marijuana out there. So you better be proud of your strains, proud of your quality, proud of your final product, proud of something other than the fact that you were selling ounces for $400 because it's crazy to think that is still the mentality of people, but literally that's what happened to, what was it? It was Prop 19 again, wasn't it?
Yeah. And by the way, none of them are fucking, because the DEA didn't do any raids this year. I saw pounds for $700 in California.
Yeah.
That not $4,000 pounds, $2,000 pounds.
I
but
seen the most
$700
amazing thing ever. I seen pounds of good trim going for more money than pounds of decent outdoor.
Yeah.
I was like, dude,
that's really that's tipping the scale right there.
Yeah.
And that's just because of the fact that everyone's so concentrate crazy, and they don't want to. They'd rather get their indoor trim to make their concentrates because
the thing is,
their outdoor might have more dust and dirt or whatever. They might have a slightly lower yield. But
the dollar per gram or the gram per watt. I don't give a shit about a gram per watt. Right. I'm so sick of people showing me big buds and telling me about their yield, and I'm like, sweet, that's good weed at 8% THC.
Right.
Talk about your gram of THC per watt. Talk about the milligrams of THC that you're growing per watt, because then you have something that's actually comparable. Because otherwise, I don't care how much tomato stock you grow.
Yeah.
I don't care how many leaves are on your tomato plant. Tell me how many tomatoes that we're using off your plant.
Right.
Tell me about the usable fruit, because right now we spent a lot of people spent a lot of time and made a lot of money growing shitty pot because it filled up the sack and the scales.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew people that, I just grow this. I got this one for my head.
Yeah.
But I only grow this.
Yeah.
And it was
booty
donkey nugs like this on every one that were, probably 8-9% THC.
Right.
So that was great when there wasn't options, but people realized.
Well, it'd be good to get that. It'd be good to be able to get like because I'd have to say gram per watt is the best way up until now.
Yeah.
Because at least
still a gram per watt
at least
oil.
But at least you can. Yeah, exactly. No, that's
gram per watt of conconcentrate.
Yeah.
To me is like the
that's
comparator.
Because
yeah,
if you're
that's. I
making
mean, then you've broken it
edibles,
down.
if
You've
you're
broken
doing-
it down at that point. So it's definitely the ultimate way to classify it. And the thing is,
It'll help you wean out your strains.
oh yeah, it's a much easier, and that's like an Excel sheet right there. That's like
Yep.
oh look, do there it is, and that's kind of where we're coming to is now at least we have to evolve past just yields, because yields aren't worthless if they're. I mean, how many times have you grown a crop and you just at the end you're just like, God, I wish I put that other. If you just put a different clone in, you would have done the same amount of work. And you had that one plant in the corner that just killed it. You're like, oh my God, the ding, the light bulb comes on your head, and you're like, if I had just switched the numbers and maybe had one of these rest of the room that I have, because it can make a huge difference, you know what I mean? Especially when you, because a lot of times you are going just strictly on what's the healthiest clone you got, let's say, and I've seen even times where I've put in like one scraggly, waggly thing that I didn't think was going to do anything. And that thing just, because it was a different strain and something, blew up, took over the room. What? All those health, So a lot of times it's, it's just knowing what strain you're running, of course.
Yeah.
So we have to talk about sponsors, I guess, because we otherwise forget every time.
Pay the bills.
Sponsored by Way to Grow, our number one sponsor, of course. They've got 5-6 shops now, and then they've been around 11 years.
Commercial for them yet?
No, we haven't made it. We're gonna
I'm
make.
gonna have to give the crazy man a shout out right now.
Which one is he?
I mean, you almost should throw him some pennies and say, "Hey, man, why don't you help me stay away from the microphone and just help me produce a commercial?" Mm-hmm. Because
I know we're ready. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm telling you, it's hard. These weeks, literally, I think about it every week, and then the week all of a sudden about Saturday rolls in, and then it's Wednesday. It's like, dude, how did Saturday turn?
Do you have a whip, bro? You could just do that little move around his neck when he's leaving, pull him back in, and get him to do some work.
Jingle action. Well, anyway, Way to Grow. Let me give them
Way
a
to
mega shout out, because they are.
How many locations are they at right now?
Six
locations.
And they the newest one is on South Platte River, and it's the 20,000 square foot spot.
Megastore.
Megastore.
It's
exactly.
on South Platte in Mississippi, right?
Basically, yeah, it's right before Mississippi. It's pretty hardcore. You have to know it's coming up, or or whip around and hit it up again. But it's
you need to go around the block. I've actually had to go around. There is a block right there.
Yeah, you can do that.
Whip around the
block. You can do
block.
the old whip around. But huge spot, and it's just starting to fill out. I mean, they have barely even started, because every time I go there, they got more gear in there, and they have tons of more space. So it is going to be the one-stop mega shop there. But pretty much, I think if you're anywhere in Colorado, they're pretty close. They got one in the Springs, one in Boulder.
Fort Collins,
Gun Barrel, and it's Gun Barrel and Boulder. We don't know all the addresses. It'd be too hard to turn on my iPad and look at the numbers. But I'm sure Way to Grow.
Right, if you could just get that down one time or something,
yeah.
you think you maybe could record it and then play it over and over.
That would be pretty smart. I think that's what
somebody
they call
should
radio.
invent things like that.
I think they call that radio. Oh wow,
radio?
I didn't know this was radio. Oh. So anyway, that's our number one sponsor, and pretty much our only major sponsor. We of course love to give shout outs to Boulder Wellness, because then they take care of us too. So, and then if they don't listen and they don't take care of us, I have something to give them shit about, basically. But Boulder Wellness,
and those guys are going
5420 Arapahoe. So
go check out that Jelly Bean 13 from Boulder Wellness.
Yeah, they have a bunch of flavors in there.
That's no joke.
They got some good tasty flavors and they have also been winning almost every time they enter something in their Rooster Cups and all their cups. I mean, they've won almost every time. So give them a check if you can. And we've got guys driving up from Denver every day, almost, or every other day. So we know it's worth it.
And I know
Great prices.
they're in the process of building out their rack. I think he said June 1st or something.
Yeah, they pushed it back. They were originally going for the 420 like everybody was,
right.
But I think they decided to push it back into a more realistic time. When it calms down a little bit.
Oh, you know what? Actually, no. I got to take that back.
420, they're still going for?
I heard this. I talked to him 2 days ago.
Okay.
And I think he said they're trying to open right before 420.
There you go. I think they may go for the
and it should be right next door, so that address is still where you go. It's
5420, magic number, of course. Like I said, people are driving all the way from Denver for that, so that's got to be something special up there.
It's proper.
Yeah, proper. Graffiti Factory, give shout outs to them, of course.
Graffiti Factory, dank decals, killing it.
Anytime you need any kind of printing stuff, they're the ones. Of course, you can always come right to the Hood Lab and talk to us, and because we have a graffiti factory built right into our spot. So it's a way to come in. If you got any printing needs, vehicle wraps, any of that kind of stuff, give us a shout.
When are the new shirts coming in?
To which
the next blank ones, like the summer order
from us. Let's see,
because that's the next time we'll do like the printing run, right?
Yeah, probably about 6 weeks or so. A little less even maybe, but we'll say 6. Also this Friday. Friday. Big special multi-event going on down at the Hood Lab. We have our first Friday event. That's always every month, and this is actually the outro final party for the or final first Friday, I should say, with Vincent Gordon and Sean Dietrich, and they're going to have 12 other artists. And last time they had 7 artists, and that was pretty awesome because there's a couple of amazing pieces in there. But we're also, it's a big giant. It's like the event which we have always. We have another Jenny Cush event, which is her birthday, which we've been waiting to celebrate. So this is kind of like the Clash, but it's also the beginning of the spring vibe. And I think I think this place is going to be ram-packed with people, and it's going to be awesome because we're going to be giving to the Jenny Cush Fund for her kids.
It's a celebration, bitches.
It's a celebration, and there's going to be, like I said, 12 different artists on top of the 2 that are already there. So that's 14 artists. I think that's the most we've ever had. So just artists alone, without even any people there.
If no one shows up, it's
already packed. So no, but definitely get there early. We're going to start around 6 o'clock for 6 o'clock for the Jenny Cush part, and then the other starts at 8. So we have 2 solid hours in the beginning, and hopefully weather. I think the weather's gonna be awesome. I think it was all right.
Should be good.
I saw good weather, so it was not going to be no crazy storms like you'd expect. But
come out. I think Paul's getting new printed stuff.
Yep, new stickers,
new shirts,
and then the seeds are coming out. Yeah,
seeds.
The
limited release of the Jenny Cush from Rare Dankness.
That'll be the official super launch, I think.
Official launch, yeah. We just got the packaging.
Boom.
What is it? The RD1 with the Amnesia Haze?
I think so.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then Jay's going to be making some unicorn horn nice. With purple filling and sparkles on them. It's going to be tasty.
Fuck yeah.
If you like donuts.
It's going to be kind of weird, though, eating unicorn.
What do you mean? Get the fuck out of here.
This
is Colorado, dude. Donut shop opens, we form lines.
Yeah.
Donut shop and the weed shop. That's all I've been saying. Everyone, man, only the donut shop and the weed shop.
Don't mess around.
Look, donut shop and weed shop, and guess what else? What? We just got beat out by like Montana for the thinnest state for like the first time. Like they're talking about.
Because we got donuts up in here?
Obesity study in Colorado, and I was like, what is this? And I turn it up, and they're like, oh, Colorado has slipped a notch down the national rankings and is now second to Montana when it comes to, I was like, what? Weed and donuts come, lines form, and instantly we're number 2. We can't. It's
just those 2%. Yeah, we're slipping,
No more lines in front of the donut shops every morning, every night. Like, seriously, they're fucking donuts, and they ain't that good.
I'm just saying we're the second healthiest.
Yeah.
Montana's the first.
But we fell down.
We used to be the healthiest.
We're the healthiest,
yeah.
I don't like second place. That's the first loser, man. Come on.
I think, does it have something to do with the less amount of people anyway or something? Like there's only when you have like this amount to check.
Well, we have a migratory pattern now as well.
East Coasters
Hopefully
who are
people are only migrating for
sure.
weed and they're not migrating for
donuts. It's like, we have this huge donut pool right now.
Yeah, Dread. Dread's the only guy I know who migrated for donuts pretty much. But he didn't even know he was migrating for donuts. It just happened. He just happened to be in the middle of a donut fest and he was like, that's it, taken in.
This is the new truth.
Pretty much. I mean,
medical donuts.
He's posted more about donuts than anybody I've seen.
More about donuts than weed?
I don't know.
50-50?
Close. Because weed is work, so he's like, that's kind of work,
Right.
I think
but donuts are work for him too, man. That's a hustle. That's the side gig.
I'm not going to lie. I ate the donuts. And
I'm not going to lie. I ate the donuts too. I'm not going to lie either.
They're all right.
I tried them.
Would ask me if I would wait in line for fucking 10 minutes for them. No.
It is interesting though because it's like Dunkin' Donuts showed up just recently here.
There was lines.
I guess they used to be.
There was lines at Dunkin' Donuts.
Voodoo.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like I said, I like Dunkin' Donuts. I like Dunkin' Donuts.
And if you put fucking cereal on top of it, then you got Voodoo Donuts.
Well, I heard about some hemp donuts that might be rolling around soon.
Some hemp donuts.
I heard a rumor.
Dude, I heard a rumor.
I heard a rumor
about. Oh man,
with a hemp donut.
Hemp donut.
Hemp coffee.
Hemp coffee.
Hemp donut.
Marijuana flavored condom.
Oh yeah, marijuana. Wait, marijuana flavored, or I thought it was like medicated lube. Marijuana flavored is what it is.
Dude, you didn't hear this story? Look it up.
I thought it was fake news, bro. I don't look at these things because I think they're fake news.
It might be, some of the story might be embellished because I actually heard they're targeting them towards like prison inmates.
What?
Dude, look it up.
I need to suck on that kush dick. What?
Marijuana scented or flavored condoms.
I saw like marijuana condoms, and I assumed like medicated lube.
I thought you were talking about the sugar. I didn't know you were talking about the condoms.
Yeah, speaking of that, I don't know. I seen some personal lube too that was medicated. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Medicated lube. Yeah, it's really weird. But anyway,
if you jerk off that much that you're getting a rash and you need to use a medicated
you need
lube,
healing. You need healing on that
dude.
shit. That's a problem.
You need to get laid. You need to go out and see the sunlight. Stop playing fucking video games.
I mean, I don't know if it's
nothing against video games. Actually,
I don't know if it's the principle of like the CBD patches on your taint. Like that whole region has a lot of blood going type thing. So the medicated.
That's Mitch. Make sure you get that Mitch. Is the camera on Mitch? Yeah. Mitch is the one talking about medicated taint application.
And that's a quote from Scott from Weird Agnes. I have not tried that. We're putting that on record.
That's him.
That's
right?
Scott talking about that.
Scott loves that stuff.
I said I saw these patches. You tried them. He's like, put them on your taint.
Oh, I didn't know about the taint patch, but he was all about the
ass candy.
Yeah, the ass candy. Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
Weird Agnes ass candy. The suppositories. That's classic.
The backdoor Kush, man. Did you hear that story?
No.
That's a great. So Backdoor Kush is one of they show up at High Times. We can talk about LA Cup.
I could not find a medicated condom, but by the way, so
not medicated. Marijuana condom. It's medicated.
It's not fucking medicated, dude. This guy.
We gotta call him. We gotta call in here.
Look for marijuana condom.
Hello, welcome to the Adam Dunn Show.
Yo, you there?
I am right here. Who's that?
Oh yeah, this is Dude Grows. I just was had a question there regarding marijuana madness and Cannabis Cup coming up for the guys.
Yeah. We were at something we had to get to anyway.
It's on the agenda.
Oh yeah, you've pulled us in. You segued us away from our.
I wanted to redirect the taint conversation there.
That's an interesting segue.
You've interrupted taint for. Okay, well anyway, give us what you're interested about.
I heard the marijuana madness is on hold kind of right now, and seeing if there's any updates on that.
Not really. We're actually waiting for an answer now from, I guess, the excise people or something. It's kind of It's kind of an interesting one because they had nothing better to do than to go and bother people for small private events, and then.
Right. I would like to take this time to comment and say that for as long as I can remember, I know of the warehouse that holds raves where people go underage and do nothing but drugs. And they didn't do shit about that for literally 10 years. And all of a sudden, some people want to be happy and smoke some ganja together.
Which is legal. Which is legal, by the way.
Yeah, actually legal.
Which is actually legal.
And they're of
compared
age.
to underage.
Yeah, and there's no profit. There's no. This is just consenting adults. Turn down your computer, brother.
All right, so we got some red tape holding up, it sounds like, for a little bit, trying to figure out, what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, and then, it's going to be interesting to see because, for instance, I know David from THC Magazine is not happy, obviously, about it because he's put things forward and now all of a sudden got this sort of roadblock, and it's kind of one of those classic situations where if they don't let him do the event, well, I guess he's got a lot of ideas for the articles in the next couple of months of coming out because there's going to be a lot of pissed off people, obviously, within the industry just because of the fact that we're also coming close to 420, and if they start to get all jumpy and want to get into everybody's...
bro, would you turn your computer down?
My computer?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
I don't have it up. I don't have any. Do you have an echo?
Yeah, a little bit. Someone's phone. All right. Okay, never mind. It's fine. It's not too bad. But anyways, because we're coming up close to 420, hopefully they don't turn this into like a big giant, like we want to raid every place.
We'll make an example of that.
Because what is the point of that? Were we back to prohibition again? We just got out of that. We just literally got out of that. It's like, come on.
My interest in being a recreational grower, it seems like you're, given an opportunity. Where I was looking at recreational, the High Times Cannabis Cup. This is the first year, I believe, anybody 21 and up, even if you're not associated with any licensing or anything, can enter product.
They did it
but
last year,
$1,000 to do that.
Yeah, and by the way, if you do want to do that, holler at them like yesterday because those spots fill up like right away.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and that's what I wanted to ask about that to Adam. I don't know if you've actually judged, and I'm very proud of some of the things I have to potentially enter. But it seems like, are the judges more interested in newer hybrid creations, or they'll still judge some of the old, I won't say standard, but some of the OG strains that have been around for a long time? Are you at a disadvantage if you're not entering something that's more a newly bred strain, or does that really matter? It just comes down to how good it is.
You're basically the competition is more. I mean, you have a selected group of professional judges, but it's still subjective. Like even with the science coming into play more and more, you're always going to have the selective palate dependent upon the group of judges selected for that cup.
I got to take a little, just like for LA, for example, like I know that in one group, that's definitely there. Like the old school judging method was for sure. Well, to answer your question specifically, no, strain doesn't matter theoretically because it is all just anonymous. They don't know what they're smoking. It's just a number. Every strain gets numbered, so it's not like, oh, this Bubba sample, and they'll be like, oh, I like
and to be
Bubba.
Quite honest, I mean, when we judged in San Francisco, how many Granddaddy Perps did we see?
Exactly.
It was like, people were entering, like 8 or 9 people entered the same exact strain, and it was pretty obvious right off the bat. And
I just judged in LA. Indica in LA, it was all OG.
So
OG.
basically,
the
uniqueness can be in an old strain because it's unique because of its quality.
And if you look at
like
what just happened in Best Sativa in LA was what, Red Dragon, like some personal strain, so that to answer your question, the genetics don't matter that much.
It sounds like it shouldn't prevent me from entering if I have confidence in my product.
If you do a good job,
if
you do a really good job,
great product is great product, and it always stands out.
Yeah.
And people can whine and bitch about the results of this contest all the time, but like I said, they select quality judges that are subjective in their opinion based on their own experiences. So while it's not always going to be what you might like, it's always good weed and good product that wins because that's the consensus of the judges. It's not like one person picks those winners.
Even Skunk Number 1, which everybody thinks is like the oldest strain ever, and they all think they know it, is literally like cheese is just another pheno that was grown in UK of a Skunk Number 1. So literally Skunk Number 1 is one of those plants that if you pulled that out of the hat right now and you had a really good piece of it,
could be a showstopper.
You could win all of it with that, and people would be like in shock. But at the same time, they'd remember that these things come in cycles, and people get pretty quickly like, oh, I've grown that, I've smoked this, I've had that, and then all of a sudden when they don't have it anymore, that's when they start to remember, like, hey, because how many strains do we know that we lost?
You idealize it and it becomes legendary type thing.
And those are the ones, why did I lose that one? You know what I mean? And that's because we forget sometimes when we have a lot of flavors in front of us to really, appreciate it, and you start to get like,
It didn't like Acapulco Gold win in Amsterdam like 2 years.
That
one
was
of those like,
total bullshit.
It wasn't a real deal.
So
it was amnesia.
So if I'm trying to promote myself as a grower, as an individual, I'm not business associated, then this is probably, you guys would say as growers yourselves, one of the best ways to do it. Money well spent. If you get up there and I won't say lucky, but earn yourself in some of the top spots.
You have to earn yourself.
Thing on your resume at least.
If you win a cup, it'll do you good.
You have to earn yourself, and you have to get lucky. It's both.
Especially because the numbers are going to get bigger and bigger with the amount of entries.
The amount of entries and the amount of quality, and quite frankly, the amount of people that are more confident in what they've done. Weed is at an all-time high right now, and definitely, I don't want to discourage anybody, but to say that depending on your desired outcome and your expectations, it could be money well spent. But it could also be a tragedy, don't
or at least learn a lesson.
Don't spend your rent money. Don't spend your rent money.
Expecting to win and then become famous for it. If you're just proud of your product and you want to see how good it does, and you've got that money kicking around, that's a great scenario.
Yeah, and I would say this, as far as like how stiff the competition is, like 3-4 years ago, there was like maybe 20%, 10% that I was like, oh, I'm excited to get to those. This past one, man, like. There was maybe like
half.
It's definitely like 60%. I'm like, oh yeah, this is fire! I can't wait to smoke these. So a few years ago, it was like if you actually knew what you were doing, you were coming out in the top of the heap type thing. everyone knows, or I should say most of the people there know what they're doing nowadays. So, you should be not just know what you're doing, but be exceptional if you're trying to get up there.
Right on. I appreciate the advice, guys.
Hey, thank you.
$100 of this goes to the testing, and then that $100 goes for the entries to be the prize work afterwards. So for the edible part of that, $100 goes to the testing of it, also for the product.
Which one are you talking about?
For this March Madness.
Yeah, we don't even know if it's going to happen.
Well, that will be the testing range that they're going to do for that entry fee.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen anyway.
Right. Well, I think that they should go through with it anyway, and just come on now, guys. It's like just don't do the thing that they said they're going to do. Just like, oh hey, look, it's not here. Sorry, this is not the droid you were looking for.
Yeah. No, the thing
and
is,
then they go.
the thing is that, as far as I heard, there was people from one of the agencies that's supposed to be governing marijuana going into places that had posters of this and telling the places, the dispensaries, anybody that if anybody was involved, they were going to lose their license. And those are strong statements to make to somebody that on a whim, you lose your license and you could be out 30 employees, 40 employees.
And so they've got to come up with some That's so unconstitutional anyway.
They've got to come up with a regulatory scheme that works. This is supposed to be fucking regulate like alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
There's a bar in every corner.
And there's drunk drivers every night. And there's people slopping themselves out of fucking group gatherings where the social interaction encourages them to drink more and get more fucked up and be more irresponsible. And they can't say that about one of our fucking gatherings, one of our group issues, never a problem, and they're upset about it. Yeah. So it's borderline fucking ridiculous the way they treat this. And in the same breath, we got chicken loopers stealing our own money to educate people how smart we are, I guess. Like, I can only hope that their stupid prohibition or propaganda campaign is as ignorant as the one that they've fought me with my whole life, because the truth is what kids understand best. And the truth is nobody gets hurt from this. And alcohol, meth, prescription drugs, every other social outlet ruins lives.
It's an hour ago.
What's the headline over there?
Well, I don't even know where that is, dude.
It's in Arizona. This lady already voted down a 4-1 vote for prohibition to be calculated to still target people to be arrested for marijuana.
Well, that's the problem. Is they're definitely hating the fact
more
that
dinosaurs. There's this brontosaurus never existed. No such thing as triceratops.
We're getting education on this show.
Yeah.
That's what we do around here.
It's activism.
Activism and
I'm just saying that
Jurassic.
there's a few there's a few of those dinosaurs that have held on. A couple of them probably living in the bottom of the sea, disguised as fish. But really, if you can't see what's coming in the marijuana world, if you're that ignorant, like I'm sorry, it's beyond ignorant, dude. I had to go 6 years ago and stand in front of a packed room full of townspeople that hated me and say, I don't care if you believe me, I'm telling you facts. Go to Google, type in cannabis and read what it says. I'm not hiding anything. It's not like we're tricking anyone. You are an idiot if you haven't done some reading and realize that this is not detrimental to our society. And everything else is lies.
Yeah, not only that, it's like without even knowing it, these people are going to start eating it and wearing it, and they're going to be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it! I'm eating hemp," and they're not going to know it, and they're going to like freak out after they love it. They're like, "Oh man, did you?" Because everyone's not going to be like overly emphasizing it after a while. It's just going to become a normal thing. It's going to be like you look on the side of your thing, you're going to look, "Oh, it's made with unbleached thing." Oh, hemp seed, that's cool. We're gonna look for that and love it. They're gonna find it and go, "Oh my god, I can't believe we ate that last night." Gonna want to go figure out how to get their blood transfused or something, because they're gonna freak out and they're like, "Are you kidding me? This is the most healthy thing that we've got on the shelves right now." So
remember that
they're about to get bitch slapped by like this plant all day long, which is going to be awesome to see. They'll be driving it, wearing it, eating it. Fucking I can't get away from this thing, So that's gonna be pretty awesome to see. I think.
That's still the goal to me. Is like I would be so bold as to say that this country and this world would be a better place if more people in this country used cannabis regularly.
Of course, it would be.
That's still a bold.
It would be great if the sun came up tomorrow.
Yeah.
I just figured
Yeah, all right. I know it's an
Statements of
obvious
obvious.
statement, obvious, but at the same time,
Mr. Obvious, we call
but
him
we're
that.
not, we're not promoting cannabis. Of course we're, promoting cannabis
I would
usage.
in my life, in like the promotion of cannabis is one of the things that's lacking most from education of children.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't
Like,
disagree. But yeah.
If you really boiled it down to the simple facts of all the time that I wasted listening to history teachers tell me shit, and I never want all the dumb shit that they told me, and I never learned one time that one plant is the reason that we got off of one rock. It's the reason we put clothes on. It's the reason we were able to ever make a fucking seaworthy rope, a seaworthy sail. It was the reason. In the beginning, it was used for so much that I got in an argument with a guy after I opened my dispensary that said, if it was so important, don't you think the founding fathers would have said something about it in the Constitution? I said, you fucking idiot.
It was written
It
on.
was so
Printed on,
important that they didn't even consider it because they were writing on it.
Yeah.
They paid their taxes in it.
Yeah.
It was every fucking farmer that was smart was growing it.
Sure.
So
We kind of had to.
it was a fundamental way of life because it was the only textile that worked. There was no nylon. There was no ropes made of oil.
And you couldn't import ropes from far away if you didn't have ropes to get to the far away. in the
yeah,
first
to
place.
get the
So
ropes, yeah.
There's kind of a catch-22 on that one, and that's one of the classics. Even in Holland, I told the story I think already on the air, but the shipping museum there is they have a big ship out in front, and it has no sails on it, and that's because the Queen doesn't want hemp. She didn't want hemp to be. Didn't want to. And I was like, really? So when we found that out, we went. I used to work for the Hash Museum at that time, so we went over there and talked to them and asked them why it doesn't say anywhere in this museum anywhere the word hemp, and they were like, why should it? You know what I mean?
They're ignorant.
Like, oh, well, maybe because every single ship had about 50 tons of it on there, and you guys have a ship out here that's got 0 on it, and technically, but inside the middle of the wood on the deck, that's all hemp. So you guys didn't get around that because that's all hemp right there. You know what I mean? And technically, back in the day, all the lanterns would have been hemp oil.
Hemp oil.
So it's like the classic.
I mean, literally, it goes so deep to like
Our
the
word
first-
canvas because canvas sales, like our word canvas comes from cannabis, right? Like
I'm an
that's
artist.
because they were doing
I'm an
canvas
artist
sales.
painting on canvases, and it took me until my adult life to figure out that the root word is literally because of cannabis.
Yeah.
That every fucking Van Gogh in the world was printed on a cannabis.
Sure, that's
on
how we
on
did
a
our
hemp canvas.
And that's how we just did our campaign with the art jackets because we were
Yeah.
in Amsterdam
It goes-
making art jackets and then painting on them and saying, well, that's what that's what
that
Van
was
Gogh
the
would have done if
original.
he was around right now. He would.
And when you look at the facts behind the poor Rudolf Diesel, this poor dude is rolling over in his grave because now his name is synonymous with the dirtiest byproduct of petroleum.
Yeah.
And instead, he designed a genius engine to work on natural oils. Hemp seed oil was one of the catalysts in his development of that. Henry, like the first Model T, was built, and not only built to run on hemp biodiesel, it was built out of hemp panels. Like
Hemp plastic,
everybody was fucking amazed in the 90s when Saturn came out with a plastic car that you could throw a ball at or hit it with a bat and it would spring back out. But that was there's footage, old like 8mm footage of Henry Ford walking out into the middle of his field, taking a stick, whack, whack, smacking on the side of this car, and that was the first.
Yeah, that's how it started.
That's how it
not
started.
like genius.
And he was like, "Really? You're not going to let me do it like this?" I guess I can make it out of metal. All right. My plan was to grow. My plant was to grow the cars in the field.
Yeah.
But I'm a genius person, enterprising man. Let's get that.
Well, and they had to satisfy the steel industry, obviously, at that point. And that was the thing is that, and then imagine how much lighter the cars would have been, how much better mileage they would have had.
It was
safer, less
like
people
I
getting
said,
hurt.
Teach fucking kids about hemp, dude. It's ignorant.
So do you think you should teach kids about hemp, but
I think you should teach
marijuana
kids
too, right? Like as
but-
part of nutrition, I feel like.
Hemp seeds, again, it's the most
It's most nutritionally dense,
nutritional,
right?
but it's further than that. It's got every one of the essential
Omegas.
fatty acid, omegas, and aminos that you need to sustain life.
Right.
It's like the only thing that you can not only eat it and live. you could eat it and be perfectly healthy,
And you could eat
that's
it
your only
exclusively.
food. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty
Forever.
sure it could travel through space too.
Seeds can.
I'm pretty sure that
Travel
they
in
would be able to handle the pressures of space just because they have that perfect. Like if you could get a seed out there somehow, get it out, and it made it somewhere else, it could do it. You know, what
It
I
would
mean? It's-
sprout, you think? Or
I think
I'm just
so.
going to start throwing
I'm
seeds
sure.
in the sky.
I'm
That's
pretty
it,
sure.
yep.
I'm
gonna
pretty
build my
sure.
arm strength up
I
and-
would bet. I would bet money on it because
Really?
yeah.
because you can put them in the freezer and shit, and they're
I mean,
cool.
they're just so strong to begin with. I mean,
It's
when
a
did,
miracle,
Vinny, when
dude.
did you just sprout it? Some 89 seeds, right? The other day?
87.
87. He just sprouted them. Boom.
about
Sprouts.
17 years old.
I mean, come on now.
17?
25.
27. I'm not good at like the headman.
The headphones interfere
Yeah,
with the
yeah, exactly.
mathematical skills. And in general,
Triangulation.
imagine that plant is really only allowed. It's really supposed to happen in a year. So maybe give it 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years, or 5 years. It's not like Vinny has lived in the same house for the last 27 years. He's probably traveled around quite a few places. Went to Vegas. How long were those seeds in Vegas? 12 years in Vegas. Driest, hottest
As
fucking
in
place.
dry as fuck, hot as hell.
Put them in the oven on 200 for 12 years.
So I mean, technically speaking, I would say they have been through a pretty long and rough life in a sense. Maybe not rough, but definitely high and low temperatures, not perfect chamber. So if you kept seeds in the perfect temperature, I guarantee they'd sprout 25 years, no problem. Probably 50 years. I mean, that's pretty awesome stuff. So just that alone, it means it could travel through space for a good 20 years and maybe get somewhere. 20 years is not very far though. 20 years, like maybe where would it get?
20 light years if we're moving at light speed, which is still not that far in space. Like
20 light years that far. It's like the first stop at the corner. That's
At
like
light.
the kiosk.
Well, and when
that's
you
a
look at
kiosk
this, you look at
to
it,
get
there's
out
a-
onto space.
There's an entire group of people that believe that this plant was brought to us from space.
Yeah, I would
because
believe
the,
From
the
Sirius?
Daga, the Daga people, they basically, if you think about it, it's got to be fucking confusing to people. How many plants do you know that there's a boy and a girl?
Right, it's not many.
Like there's I think it's less than fucking 5 or something.
Nah, dude. There's like
There-
dioecious plant. Google dioecious plant
yeah,
species.
dioecious and
There's-
monoecious.
There's a
that
bunch.
exhibit distinct sexual characteristics identifiable to a layman.
We're gonna
I don't think there's that many.
do this.
Like there's some I've looked at some that are there's like asexual obviously, and then there's plants that there's a boy and a girl that look the fucking same.
Right,
But I'm
that
telling you, how many plants are there in the world that you can separate by the sex by looking at them?
We're finding out right now.
The
Asking
term to the
Google.
kid should be the cannabinoid system. You know, how we all
Yeah, the endocannabinoid system. There's so many ties
In health class,
in,
for sure.
And there's so many ties in that it's ridiculous that the only fucking money that we're going to be spending on cannabis in
There's
kids.
74 categories.
You got the list there,
74
but
pages.
it says
That's not identifying the ones that are.
It says the majority of plant species are not entirely dioecious. They may instead have only bisexual flowers, or they may possess some mixture. They're like Hermes.
Yeah.
But still a significant number of plant species, 6% of plants, which is not, I mean, significant, but
6% is still
6%
low.
of overall plants are dioecious.
But it's one of those plants that it is such an obvious like
Like I said, there's a
massive growing
difference
plant,
between
though, too.
a male plant and a female plant. If it's a blade of grass,
Yeah.
like I said,
You
how
can't
many
tell,
how
right.
many of those 6% can you walk up to and say, "This is a boy"?
Well, that's what they're saying. That's
This is a girl.
6% of total plants, which is still like it's the 95th percentile in plants, you know. It's certainly not common.
Right?
So you're saying they came from space?
No, I'm not saying.
You're saying that
I'm
some
saying
people say they came from space.
You knew the fucking planet they were talking
Yeah,
about, so obviously
Sirius
you
is
know
a star,
well,
not a
you're-
planet.
He's
The
also-
dog star Sirius.
Oh yeah.
And then they say that like cannabis they say cannabis comes from cana bi, meaning like 2 dogs. It's the double dog star. I'm not sure. It's in Canna Bible
But-
if you guys want to read that story.
Right?
I got some people that
yeah.
believe it's the manna that fell for the
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically, I think it's like anything, like very hard to tell most of these plants apart until they flower, and then they flower, and you say, oh, once you know it, you're like, oh, well, that's a male flower and that's a female flower. But probably to us, we're not, none of us give a shit about a plant we can't smoke and get high off. So that's how it kind of
No,
works.
how many
who cares?
systems?
I mean, we should, but we barely
We have a
pay
plant that
attention.
directly fucking correlates with a system in our body, though.
Right.
Yeah,
like
yeah. Oh no,
the
no.
only-
We don't have like an endo.
There's
anything.
no other
Yeah.
place
it's
other than
the endocannabinoid
naturally
system is a totally different
and in
thing. Though.
weed.
Yeah.
Those two
Sponges. It
things
started
that-
in sponges. I love that part.
It's in invertebrates, really.
Yeah, it started
I
in
thought it was
sponges.
mammals.
Sea
Wow,
sea
holy
sponge.
shit.
Sea sponge.
So that's an invertebrate. Like
That was where it started.
there's more science on the Adam Dunn show today.
Jeez. Sea
Today's the
sponge.
day. Huh?
So you can get sea sponges high, is what you're telling me.
They get high. Yeah, they have receptors for sure. If you can get them,
Do you want to start put
Yeah,
like a tank?
yeah.
Like a aquarium of sea sponges
just
that are
have
just
like
baked?
we can like run our bubbler through that.
Yeah.
Get the
Tastes
fucking
funky.
fish. Get everybody
Fish
in
funk.
the fucking tank high.
Fish funk. That'd be awesome.
Just leaf blower.
You know that's going to taste disgusting.
It's disgusting. Well, we're not going to hit it. It's for the
like
fish.
smoking a turtle or it's like
You
turtle-
could definitely use this.
turtles
Aren't sponges hollow?
Well, you use one as a bowl.
Could you just like take a rip and cover one end and then like blow into the sponge and then like cover the two ends?
I'll love to watch that video for sure. That's
Someone send me a video of that.
Yeah.
Please.
That's,
Internet.
That's animal cruelty. By the way.
this guy's trying to
They're
get
invertebrates,
sponges high.
dude. Peter doesn't care about invertebrates,
I don't know
bro.
if
You
you-
can step on bugs and shit. That's straight. I feel like it's like killing a bug.
I feel like
If you go out
Peter's
and
a
killed a
crock of
lot,
shit
if you
anyway.
killed enough bugs, they'd come get you. I think.
Yeah.
If
be
you were,
nice to all
out-
these animals. We're taking all these animals. You're mistreating them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kill them all
Yeah,
because you're mistreating them. We're killing all these animals.
yeah, that sounds. That's
Peter
like-
doesn't have the integrity to come after us for getting invertebrates high.
No. Okay. Well
Dude,
then,
Peter, I'm
let's
gonna-
move on. Let's move on.
We're moving on. It's getting negative.
And moving on from that incredible subject. Endocannabinoids.
Dr. Bob, man, do research on Dr. Bob Melamede
Yeah.
if you have any questions about the endocannabinoid system, and that'll be further proof and evidence of how ignorant we are to leave it out of the education of our young people as an essential part of why we work and why we don't work in our body. It is literally
Controlling all of our functions. in
right
the same
after
sort.
they say endocrine system.
Yeah.
You should be learning about the endocannabinoid system
Yeah.
because it literally it's so amazing to listen to Dr. Bob because I feel like I should have been listening to this shit
Yeah.
in middle school, in high school. Like
Certainly in college.
I loved life science, and the only things I excelled in school were art and science. And so
Yeah, well, the cool part
There's
about
so
the
many
whole
questions
endocannabinoid system is that, first of all, is that nobody even knew it existed until recently. So that's the first thing. And then the basic, just to overview it so it gets an idea what we're talking about, though, it's basically, it kind of is like an equalizer in your system where it kind of just tunes everything in. And it's like literally like when you have a conditioner for your power, for instance, or you have a conditioner for like a big factory. When they're running power through their factories, they don't just like plug into the wall and run power straight into their thing. Everything is conditioned, and that conditioner makes everything run smooth, and that's kind of what the endocannabinoid system seems to be doing. It's kind of like telling your systems what to do, and some people seem to have a lack of endocannabinoids within them, and so what happens is when they consume
the
cannabis,
majority of the world is deficient. Cannabinoid deficient.
Yeah, most of the people. And the funny part is all of us people who didn't really know what we were doing, we just kind of like, wow, this is nice, and we've sort of found our place. We just happened to find out that we had this endocannabinoid system earlier, didn't know what it was called, didn't know why we liked it, but now we liked it so much that we would break the law every single day of the year to do this thing, and it wasn't like fireworks and sparklers and like doing DMT or something like that. It wasn't heavy. It wasn't like, wow, dude. It was literally like being normal and hanging out with your friends, and that's kind of how we all figured it out. Then other people now are jumping on, 30 years later, they're jumping on the wagon. Wow, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm in my mid-40s. I've never smoked. I'm going to go and do a dab. You know what I mean? And then that's when it all goes wrong because they skipped the whole other part, which was the slow introduction of this thing into your life and then building up this tolerance, which is actually not a bad thing because I think the tolerance just means you are loaded up.
It means, you're full. You're tuned.
Yeah, you're tuned up. You got your endocannabinoids are full. You're ready to roll.
I'm firing on all cylinders, bitches.
And then at a certain point, it's like almost like when you go on vacation for 2 weeks and you don't smoke, and then you come home and you're just like,
I don't know what
you're like
when
silly.
does that happen?
You're like silly. I've had a few times where I've had to go someplace I just couldn't get high, or it wasn't really convenient, or
That's like my biggest fear.
or
is
the
having to go
quality was so
somewhere and
low
take
that it was
pills
just
only.
like,
I'm not smoking. Yeah. I have
whatever.
been there
You're
for
like,
that.
bleh. Even like when I was in Brazil, it was like I luckily had some good hash with me, and that's what kept me going. But that was it. The weed that was there couldn't do it. You know what I mean? I could smoke it all day long, and it'd be like smoking tea or something. So yeah, in those situations, you come home. that first couple thing, you're silly high. Not even sure if it's fun to be high anymore. You're all, I don't know, this is scary high. Like, I'm like, I haven't been this high in so long. You get nervous high, and then the next time you wish
somebody at the door.
Then the next time you wish you got that high and got nervous, it didn't work, and then you're like, damn, I thought this was like going to keep on going, but it goes really quickly. You're back up on track again because I think I think maybe you kickstart your own body to produce its own endocannabinoids at a certain point because you keep doing it and reintroducing this thing so long. If you're smart and you have any kind of yogi capabilities, you could definitely produce the same things in your body. I'm sure your body can produce them. Like, we have the capability.
You have the anandamide, right? That's your internal.
So we have the ability to produce it, and we get the anandamide, which is the closest thing to THC that they have out there. That is the THC sort of.
Not even out there; it's in here.
Yeah, we have in here.
Yeah, exactly. That's inside of you, and so that's the interesting part is that every person has this, and the ability to produce it maybe would be awesome if you could turn it on and turn it off, of course, because then we would just be like, well, that'll save me a whole lot of
dab time
and just squeeze a dab out of your brain, and it would be awesome, but possible, maybe coming soon.
Yeah,
coming soon to theater near you. But in general, there is definitely ways to induce those states of euphoria and bliss, which we consider just being high or whatever.
Right.
And we just have to sort of work on them. Work on it, guys.
Get yourself high, man. Just think about it.
Just squeeze it out.
Do it. Focus.
Oh,
Squeeze a dab.
Downward facing dog.
If you hear a big growling noise right now, that's
there's a monster
is
underneath the table here.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping he doesn't wake up and breathe fire on us all.
Yeah, I've been hearing that. I didn't know if that was an audio thing or a creature.
Let's do a 5-minute break anyway, so we can properly because it's going to the torch going 4 in a row. It's like you won't even hear nothing. People will just be jealous.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back. 5 minutes. 5-minute break, everybody. Reload time for you and for us. Come on back.
The Hemp Connoisseur is Colorado's premier guide to hemp culture. Our mission is to elevate the image of the medical cannabis and hemp industries to create widespread acceptance of the cannabis sativa plant. You can find the latest issue of the Hemp Connoisseur at more than 200 7-Elevens, your favorite dispensary, MMJ doctor offices, and tattered covered bookstores. Do you consider yourself a cannabis connoisseur? Then come be a part of the Hemp Connoisseur's first cannabis championship. Visit us at thcmag.com for info on how to sample the best medicine Colorado has to offer.
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
Whether you are a commercial grower or cultivate as a hobby, No Dough Urban Garden Supply is Denver's first stop for your hydroponic grow needs. With a wide range of products including House and Garden, Botanicare, and Fox Farm, their knowledgeable staff can get you started on your first garden or help you with your well-established business. No Dough Urban Garden Supply is located in downtown Denver at 1330 27th Street, 4 blocks north of Coors Field near MMD of Colorado. They are open 6 days a week from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 303-296-3424 or visit them on the web at www.nodoughurbangardensupply.com.
Call Canisher at 1-800-420-5757 for all your insurance needs. Canisher understands the risks you face each day, and we are there to protect your business and your investment. Since 2010, Canisher has been serving the cannabis industry nationwide. Call Canisher at 1-800-420-5757 or visit us on the web at canisher.com to learn more about our insurance and risk management services. Proud member of the NCIA.
Cannapunch is a delicious and effective medical marijuana beverage proudly made right here in Colorado. Each bottle is freshly infused with 100% pure flower extract from the highest grade marijuana plants available today. Using proprietary extraction methods, every bottle of Cannapunch is consistently and reliably infused with an exact milligram dosage that you can count on to relieve your symptoms each and every time. Cannapunch is delicious. There's never any medicine-y taste. We use only 100% cannabis flowers. No trim or byproducts are ever used in Cannapunch. It does not require refrigeration and comes in convenient, resealable multi-dose most bottles, from 60 milligrams to 200 milligrams. We have drinks with dosage that works best for you. Canapunch is available in a variety of delicious flavors like black cherry, watermelon, pineapple mango, and blue raspberry. And we now have strain-specific beverages available just for you. Canapunch is delicious, convenient, consistent, and effective. Give it a try and experience the Canapunch difference.
Whether you are a commercial grower or cultivate as a hobby, No Dough Urban Garden Supply is Denver's first stop for your hydroponic grow needs. With a wide range of products including House and Garden, Botanicare, and Fox Farm, their knowledgeable staff can get you started on your first garden or help you with your well-established business. No Dough Urban Garden Supply is located in downtown Denver at 1330 27th Street, 4 blocks north of Coors Field near MMD of Colorado. They are open 6 days a week from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 303-296-3424 or visit them on the web at www.nodoughurbangardensupply.com.
Extraction Tech Solutions. Not only is it safe, but it offers one of the only ETL certified essential oil extraction systems on the market. Our equipment meets or exceeds all of the North American safety standards. Customer relationships are important to us, so after the sale, it doesn't stop for us. We are reliable and therefore when our customer needs us. We offer pre- and post-sales training, method development, services, and repairs. Extraction Tech, safe and reliable because it matters. Contact us at www.extractiontech.com or 720-515-9254.
This segment was brought to you by The Farm, a medical marijuana care center located at 2801 Iris Street in Boulder. The Farm carries premium, cannabis, edibles, and Hummingbird brand products. Visit our new cannabis lifestyle store for your local artesian glass, vaporizers, and hemp clothing. The Farm has been serving Boulder since 2009. Isn't it time you come and see what we have to offer?
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
National Cannabis Industry Association would like to thank its members who represent the leading professional businesses in America's emerging legal cannabis market. NCIA is the only organization that has unified legitimate cannabis business across the nation to fight for real reform in Washington, D.C. For more information or to make your business a member, visit us online at thecannabisindustry.org.
Ideal 420 soil is preloaded to perfection with all your nutrient, microbial, and biostimulant needs. It's compatible with all strains and is good for a 22-week grow cycle from seed to harvest. This product is 100% organic and gives your marijuana that awesome aroma and smooth taste we all desire. Ideal 420 Technologies is well-grounded in soil chemistry, soil physics, and microbial biology, making them the most advanced soil company in the marijuana industry. They do the science so growers can focus on what truly matters, the plants themselves. No more mixing and feeding of expensive nutrient lines, supplements, and foliar sprays. Not to mention, the company is prideful in being the most consistent soil product that has yet to hit the market. Due to the results when using Ideal 420 soil, they are quickly changing the standard for cannabis cultivation. To order the product, go to ideal420soil.com. Use promo code INTHELAB for an additional 20% off.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Boom. Welcome back to the Adam Dunn Show. I am Adam Dunn. That is Mitch right there. Checking out. What are you checking out? The
Underdog. Let me get my phones back on here.
There you go. Underdog. Some Underdog. Shatta. Very nice. We also had some Moroccan shatter, which I saw online and got a good chance to taste. And it was pretty damn tasty and awesome. It is some P1 with some parental line that I brought back years ago, and I gave them to a friend of mine, and he popped some beans recently and got some awesome material out of it. It's pretty interesting to try too, because it's got that unique, it's coming from the Keefe Mountain, it's coming from
the Reef Mountains.
The Keefe Mountains of Reef.
Yeah.
The Keefe Mountains, I like to call them. It comes from the Reef Mountains, and it's got but it doesn't obviously have the soil and the flavor of the air and the thing. So I didn't get a chance to see the plant, but the plant's apparently very unique, classic, sort of spear shaped with strange little like nobule buds and no donkey dicks or nothing like that. And but everybody who like tried it, got the uniqueness of it. I think it has a lot of CBD in it myself. I told him to get it tested because it has that real weird like background at the end, that little cherry background that's synonymous with CBD strains.
You know what's really crazy? We were talking about cup judging before. Like, at least in LA Cup, they told us that our, where we ranked everything for potency was the exact same as how the lab ranked them for potency.
Oh yeah,
which is like, so maybe that's what I mean to say by that is like, maybe when you say CBD-ness, like I trust that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah,
you don't need a machine to tell me.
Exactly. No, and it's funny too when you try, because we had tried some stuff on the East Coast. And then stuff from here, and then different concentrates, and they all just had this certain, like, it literally tasted like cherry cough medicine, which is funny because you're like, wow, cherry cough medicine. Who would have thought that the flavor of the actual thing is really what it's supposed to be? Like maybe there was tinctures, because there was lots of tinctures, but maybe there was tinctures that worked really well that they didn't understand about CBDs at the time, but they did make a cannabis-based tincture, and maybe they ended up with those CBD-rich plants that had that cherry flavor, and maybe that's where the cherry flavor came from. Who knows?
Very possible.
Who knows? The great mysteries of the universe that could be possible.
And what about, like, I know. There's certainly no doubt that CBD does amazing things, but when we are able to identify, like we can't call CBG when we see it now. We can't, all this other stuff, CBC, and that stuff. Like when we can start to name that
THCV,
stuff,
you can sort of if you're receptive enough to the very short, quick little thing that happens when you smoke THCV, which is basically you get like it would be most connected to like a flash, where you get like, for instance, you smoke some really good outdoor, and you get, instead of getting like a creeper high where it kind of comes on real slow, you almost get like I wouldn't say instantaneous, but it's like a real, like after maybe the second hit, you start to go like, wow, it kind of hits you automatically, and it's not really a heavy high. It's just this sort of like, kind of like when you get a little bit of goosebumps on your arm or something like that, and it kind of just covers you, and you get this little weird little tickle.
Like it's like you just got the star in Super Mario Brothers, right? Like that feeling where you're like, oh, power up. Yeah.
And that's literally THCV. So it's hard to explain because it's very subtle.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And that's where indoor weed that's grown with regular HPS compared. That's where LEDs do have some sort of advantage, because some of them can produce. They have literally ones that are tuning in on that one frequency that makes that particular part, because that's really like the missing link, I'd say.
Now, are we not doing that for CBD? Do we has anyone tuned in the spectrum for what's going to tweak the CBD yield like that?
I don't know. No,
that's not a bad idea.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Patented that idea.
Speaking of which, now dabberry eggs. Let's talk about that. We're claiming that shit.
You gotta wait till Derek's back.
All right, D Money, where are you? But I mean, it's my idea. He didn't answer when I tagged him. But
no. Well, it's not. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah,
what do you think?
It 420 Easter. What do you guys think about doing dabberry eggs?
Ooh.
Right? It's only like, when was the last 420 Easter?
I know. Never. We don't know. It was probably
it's like the Mayan calendar.
Well, it's literally it is based on
well, the Easter's lunar. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like the last holiday that's based on actual astrology. So then we get
which 420 is not based on anything actual, but it.
Well, no, it is.
What's your take on 420? Let me find this.
Oh, actually, no. Steve Hager's got the whole history, and it's pretty
of the Waldos.
The Waldos, and that is it.
Is that it?
It is it.
Okay.
He's actually got some group.
Should we say it? The Waldos. Yeah, so there was a group of kids in California called the Waldos.
Yeah.
What, they met every day at 420 to smoke weed?
Yeah.
Cool story. Now it's a holiday that aligns with astrological significance.
Yeah, exactly. We've actually, that's been manifested. And that was like in the 70s, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, I mean, there was like, that there is a lot of history to that. Not much substance to it, just a lot of history though, timing wise. And they were, obviously like, there was all part of the, the Merry Prankster time period, and there was all the other things going on. So there was definitely like, and connections between all of them. So that's one thing that I think Steve Hager's going to come out with a movie, he said, which is pretty awesome, based on the whole 420. So that's pretty cool. I told him it would be a good idea because it needs to be done. History needs to be said while it's still here, because it's amazing to see how quickly things get just completely confused. And you being my gossip columnist now, you probably be part of the reason why things are so confused.
Hey man, I'm here to keep it straight.
But no, in general, if you noticed, like when you know the history of a strain, for instance, and you were there the day that the kid figured it out or whatever, and then you see maybe within 5 years, it's completely a complete other story. Even to the point with and it gets it's even the people who are responsible, they forget too, and they sometimes misquote themselves and change history. Like I saw.
Well, you didn't think it was going to be anything significant, right?
I saw an article the other day that came out in High Times that I thought was classic, where they got about 90% right, but there was a few glaring things, and one of them was, and it was Matt Bubba it was him being interviewed, and the thing is, I think everybody forgets because it was about OG being original gangster again, and I'm like, listen, it's Ocean Grown. That is, I don't know how he forgot that, but I mean that's literally what it was. It was these bunch of kids, him and Josh, and he came from Florida and brought the Bubba, and then they worked on there, and then he lost it and got the other OG. He had good insight to the history because he actually was the guy who brought that Bubba, but. In general, just to see that it got misconstrued again and get put out there as fact, I was like, God, so in general, it doesn't take much. It takes either one person forgetting or a whole community just
5 minutes,
forgetting themselves.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
It was a quick five. We were talking about, he was talking first about Dabberry
eggs. You in?
I seen your thread.
I know. I tagged you.
He said you didn't answer.
You were disgusted.
Not by your thread. There's a lot of times on Facebook. I'll be quite frank with people right now. I might speak out a lot more on Facebook if I was on Facebook more and I was able to see the comments before I read the other fucking vomit that comes out of other people's mouths. Because several times either people are trying to learn something. And they've been fucking clouded by so much bullshit in the comments that I don't even want to comment anymore. Or something is it's been taken somewhere that I'm not even interested in being involved in the conversation anymore. So I wish I could have been able to catch on to your
in the beginning,
in the very
well,
beginning.
this is that we're reinitiating that conversation.
We're starting the whole conversation fresh for the viewers. And
this is not for Facebook. This is for
we're actually not.
I'll just say that I've got some things up my sleeve, and that would have been. That makes that one of the possibilities.
Cool, let's do it. This Easter, 420.
What's Easter?
This is
420. This is like the 1 year we got
limited release at least, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's do 1,000 of them.
I do have a feeling that I'll have to pull out my Pope thing again because it's probably it's gonna have to.
You and
what?
You're not the only Pope in town.
I know. No, I know, but I'm the real Pope. So
I'm the real Pope.
Come on now.
But we moved on from Dabberry eggs to what were we just talking about?
People forgetting stuff real fast.
But actually,
we're talking about how quickly things get changed and the history. Because we were talking about 420, and I told him that Steve Hager's making he has a little movie that he made about it, which is the real history from the 70s with the Waldos and the guys who actually met and did. He has it really that
hung out at 420.
Yeah,
at their
documented.
High school or whatever.
Yeah, it was college. Documented it, which is pretty cool. And I would definitely love to.
It makes it even more responsible that it was college. I'm happier of that.
Yeah, it wasn't just some high school.
Just we're all following a bunch of what high school kids did. That seems stupid.
Well, now that's pretty much what's happening almost now. Anyway, but no, we were talking about how the history of with cannabis especially gets muddied really fast, and that it's a good idea if you can document any of these things to do that because as things go. People forget so fast. And I was just telling about an article in High Times that I read, which was about Bubba and his Bubba Kush. And I was there when they were doing the interview, and I was sitting with him. So I was like, oh, this is curious. I want to see what they use. Obviously, didn't talk about me at all because, that would have been too exciting. So it made the whole article way too exciting. No, but
they can't make it the whole magazine.
I mean, they couldn't just do that. But no, anyway, they... asked him about the whole OG thing, and he quoted it as original gangster, and I was like, dude, that's so lame. Like, why would you do that? So he probably forgot, and he even said some of the facts in this will be wrong because I don't remember. So he was at least honest about it, and I think that's because of the whole Snoop Cypress Hill, because he did give the history of Cypress got into it and then Snoop. Of course, that was true.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah.
And according to the masses, yes, original gangster because they don't understand. But yeah, it was Ocean Grown. So I mean, that's kind of a very major fact. And then, so it was interesting to see. Here's a guy who's saying he's the guy and he's misquoted now that's going to continue forever, and that's what I complained about when Soma was on here. I said, hey Soma, I love you, but New York City diesel was the worst idea ever because it confused everybody and discredited the original thing, which is sour diesel. Never even talked about that being part of the mix, and at the same time, it was what it was. And so it was kind of like, and it wasn't what it was in the flavor, but it was some bag seed that he got from John Levi, who, I know exactly what happened. I know exactly what happened.
One day, then you should do your Steve Hagar official documentary. Nah, it's too early. Too much work.
Too much work. But no, in general, though, I do think everybody
come make it easy for Adam.
Individually,
come on.
If you do documentaries,
if you do camera work, come on, I'll fucking guide you along. I'll be your liaison for working with this dude.
You can do the history of cannabis through my eyes. That makes no sense at all to anybody else. Be like, that isn't how it happened at all. I'm sure people, because everybody complains about everything. So there's no way. Even if what I say is true, probably people don't believe.
Well,
I was like, I was there.
So you just need to be the one that can pull all the people together.
Yeah.
You have to. You can't just be we got talking head again. It's Adam.
No,
you got to get everybody.
Cannabis.
It's enough of that.
Corroboration.
Yeah.
We'll get to the bottom.
There have been discussions.
I mean, the thing is, it would be interesting though because we do have we have Kay and we have people like that out there that are responsible for major stuff that stay on the kind of fringes, and then we know all the players. And that interesting part about it, the whole cannabis industry is I'm 44 myself, and I think everybody's in that same age group. We're all between say 39 and 50, let's say, and then that's the zone.
Speak for yourself, old man.
Yeah. The real
I'm 27.
No, but you're next generation. I'm sorry.
You're new school.
You're new school kid. I'm sorry.
I'm new school. I've been growing. I'm gonna have a problem now.
Now it's a problem. I knew there'd be problems.
There's a problem because I'm gonna have a problem because people that are smart enough and quick enough, I got to stop saying I'm 27 because now I'm to the point where I'm saying I've been working with cannabis for 20 years.
Yeah, you're 7.
I definitely was not 7.
No,
I was 14, 15. I'm an old fucking man. I'm close. I'm almost in your old man category.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming close.
Thank God he said 39.
You got the gray in your beard.
Dude, it's sad, dude. I found some of my throwback pictures. This is one of the interesting facts is Colorado and people in your post. Funny, when we all moved here for cannabis, I'm like, actually, I just got up in the morning one day and said, this is actually going to work. And made partners with my former business partner, Tina. And I'm a 5th generation Colorado native. I knew it was going to work. When I actually, on my life, I broke into my dad's office at Kodak in 99 or whatever. I made my own flyer. I'd already broken both of my legs. I made my own flyer with a cartoon frog smoking a bong with 2 casts on his leg that said, vote yes on Amendment 20, that had a story from the Denver Post about a man who wrote in a letter to the editor about his wife who had MS. And then I wrote this simple thing that said, look, this doesn't legalize drug dealing. Don't be stupid. Have compassion. Read the story. It's not, this is for people and I was still ignorant at the time. I didn't understand that I could benefit from it.
When was that? 1990, right? Yeah, you were a kid.
And so I didn't realize that I could benefit from cannabis. I still looked at it as something that was meant for glaucoma patients or end of life cancer,
HIV,
AIDS patients.
Yeah.
Something, basically I was tricked into thinking that its medicinal properties were limited to the comforting of dying people. But I've seen it as genius. If that was the only thing it was good for, what the fuck, man? Move it on. So I got into my dad's office that night and I made 2,000 copies because it was 50 cents to make a copy at Kinko's. I didn't realize that. And then when I went to his office, I was like, this is way easier. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Printed out all these copies and I went to Front Range Community College and the Fort Collins Mall and UNC campus, and I just slapped those fuckers on people's windows because I understood it was people that were my age and that smoked weed could make a huge difference in that. And so I seen the potential back then, and then when I hurt my back, I realized, and they were killing me with narcotics, that's when I realized, dude, I don't have to wait till I'm fucking dying. I'm 25 and I'm dying now. This can fix me or at least help. And like I said, it started out slow, but it grew so fast. I knew it was going to work. And so I opened up. It's funny, we talked about how quickly people forget. And you actually approached me about the history of Colorado cannabis because it's such an important thing that it's happened so fast that it's easy because it's a blur.
Yeah, exactly.
I opened up my shop less than 5 years ago, right? 08? Yeah, late 08, we were opening up. We were like the 15th shop in Colorado.
That's what I'm saying. Like when I started April 2009, there were maybe 20. I was able to go to every dispensary in 2 weeks because there were like 24.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And I opened up with the frame of mind that I was going to be able to shut these other jackasses down because they were just selling baggies out of a cooler in a dark room. And I opened up a shop. I sold shit by the gram. I put it in med bottles. We weighed it out in front of you. I had variety.
Like the paradigm we know today as a dispensary.
Exactly.
The model of a dispensary, yeah.
And that's, I think, what when Adam came here, I think it's just by God's chance that of the 25 or so dispensaries that existed at that time, I truly feel that if Adam walks into 20 of those dispensaries, he goes back to Amsterdam.
Oh, yeah.
Colorado's close. He came to my shop and was like, like I was happy. It wasn't like, I mean, it was a mutual admiration from the first day I met him and his mom. And when he left here, I think he left with the idea of what could happen. And opposed to going in and getting a sack out of a cooler, I think that's what made him think, well, shit, Colorado might be popping. And this dude, it's funny, everyone else that's made their pilgrimage here, this guy made the furthest pilgrimage. And he was the first one that realized, look, I remember he called me, the first phone call I got from him when he went back to Amsterdam after he left was like, I got guys looking for a house in Colorado. I was like, yeah? And he's like, let's do it. Let's figure something out because this is definitely where it's at. I just got pulled over for weed in Amsterdam. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, my first day back, I got a weed ticket for driving. Were you in the go-kart?
Yeah, I was in the white one.
Dude.
Yeah,
and so he tells me, he's like, yeah, it's definitely, Colorado's a future. And so even to be able to see the light, I mean, it was a short time ago, but it's been such a dramatic increase in business and steady people moving here. I just seen a figure the other day that said like 20,000 people a year for like the last 4 years have moved here with cannabis based as one of the reasons for moving here.
Well, it's 100, at least 100,000.
It's 100,000 people.
And I'll say when I moved here in like 07, I one of my criteria was a state that had medical. You know, that was it. But I know that in that time that I've been here, like definitely 2009, like I said, what was there, 25 dispensaries in the whole state, April 2009. Then the Holder memo comes out in June, and it was, boom.
Yeah,
like pretty
all
close
of a
to
sudden,
overnight.
people were bringing fucking notebooks into my shop and asking me where I bought my display cases and who I asked for what permits.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on here? And all of a sudden, literally my stupid little town, I was in existence for a year.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, my town got inundated with like 10 dispensaries. My town was 15,000 people. And all the communities around us put moratoriums up. And I went to my mayor and the town board and said, dude, put a moratorium up. I have integrity and honor, and I care about my hometown. That's why I opened. That's not why everyone else is opening.
Right.
They're not going to be as honorable as what we're doing. Let's figure out your guidelines. And my greedy fucking prick mayor was like, are you kidding? We're like the only people that were paying more sales tax than me was like King Soopers. You know, like huge places that had already tax incentive to be there. We were just straight every 2 weeks or whatever sending money to my tiny little town. So when it came time to a moratorium, my mayor was like, are you kidding me? Well, I'll get him as many of these as I can. This is great money for the town.
Yeah.
And so the fucking first dude to open, I opened up away from the town center on the interstate, on the very furthest skirts of town, in between a doctor and a vet and a real estate agent. You could find In Harmony Wellness discreetly right off the interstate. The next dude that opened up one fucking block from the high school, put a 6-foot pot leaf in his window, and the only business that could see into his window was the fucking nursery at Showtime Video where you put the little kids. Great. So instantly people are picketing my shop the next fucking day. Yeah. And I'm like, way to go, Mayor. And then they put the emergency moratorium in and eventually closed my shop.
Yeah.
But everything they ask for in 1284 and they've pushed for, in smart business, you don't stifle business. Like vertical integration works because in this business, you have to be smart and in control of your supply line. So I knew that from the beginning. I had my own gardens. I had my own grow, my own edible line, my own shop. And when I couldn't fill my own shelves, I was able to go to my friends and buy the quality weed that I desired. Or people were able to come in freely and make that. And that was the model that should have been allowed to weed out the crap. Mm-hmm. And instead, they've got this regulatory model in that's so heavy-handed in the regulatory system that it's almost it's almost an embarrassment. I don't want the Colorado regulations to be the one that's adopted by the whole country because it's so overbearing. And like I said, with everything we've done, and Chicken Looper just announced that he's going to steal the money to teach kids that we're evil instead of build them the schools like was mandated in the fucking
That's what
law.
we all voted
with
on,
with the money that we gave him. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's crazy that that's part of like the history that gets lost. And just to think about like in 2009, late 2009, 2010, you'd go to any Gag the Cup, you'd go to High Times, whatever. And, it was all about Cali. That's all anyone wanted to talk about. Oh, it's in Cali, man. And you'd go out and be like, dude, keep an eye on Colorado. Like, shit's popping here. And people are like, Colorado, Cali. And like, what now?
Here, I don't know if you even know this, Mitch, because you weren't here at this time.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about lost history and California and Colorado being in a same timely fashion.
Yeah.
I believe it was, this might be news to everybody here. I don't know when the last time I told everyone this was. But if you look back, you as a little investigative mind should go back and write a story for High Times about this because it's significant. In the late 90s, petitions were passed around at the same time California petitions were passed around for medical marijuana in Colorado.
Right.
Those petitions circulated, were gathered up, submitted to the state, and they were counted up.
Right.
Well, at some point, they said, no, you don't have enough signatures. Move on. So, man, we failed. We didn't get enough valid signatures. Okay, whatever. Move on. A couple years later, well, everybody's getting ready to do the signature drives again, and the Secretary of State, I don't even want to say the Secretary of State because I don't know who it was, but somebody that was in charge of shit passed away in Colorado. And as they're cleaning out their fucking desk, they find stacks of petitions that were valid signatures that somebody on their own either was told to or in their own fucking personal judgment of cannabis said, fuck these guys, stashed all these petitions.
This was for rec or for medical?
This is for medical in 2000.
So this could have
in 2000,
9 years earlier.
Yeah, in 2000, there was no petitions that were circulated to get that on the ballot.
Right.
They simply said, "Oh, we fucked up. We're putting it on the ballot."
Yeah.
And so, like, the first time that somebody told me about that, I was like, no way. And I tried to learn about it.
1999, Vicki Buckley, she was the Secretary of State. They were in her
Listen to this.
Yeah,
in her closet. What was her name?
Vicki Buckley.
Vicki Buckley. Oh, I love this. Warren just heard what we're talking about and came in. She had a heart attack.
She protested. We actually got on the ballot.
We got on the ballot, and then she protested.
She protested, recounted, said we were short. So it was that weird thing where it was on the ballot, but they didn't count it. So people could vote for it.
But it wouldn't
Then
matter.
it was even weirder because it was the first year we had the computer system counting stuff. And because it was on the ballot, if you voted for it, the computer counted it. So we actually got numbers from a year where it wasn't really.
That gives me chills.
Dude,
they
it's.
found it was only like 2 months after the election that she died. And so they found it in her closet, literally in her office. And then
D-Money tells no lie.
AMR at the time, Americans for Medical Rights, and so they threatened to sue, and in response, they just put it on the ballot again without having to collect signatures. And then that was the one that passed.
Yeah.
So that's the Amendment 20 history.
Yeah. Official, like a referee with a whistle walking in here, dude.
That gives me chills.
Damn. So literally, this one chick, Vicky, like rest in peace. I don't no disrespect to your family, but
she's like
fucking ridiculous, dude. You single-handedly
held up
history in Colorado, where we should be mentioned in those earlier years where we did work, and I did see those petitions go around, and just like Warren came in and said, like official, like they just had to do it, like they had no choice because they were being threatened with lawsuit over some crazy bitch single-handedly affecting the election.
As usual. I mean, it's
crazy,
that's
dude.
par for the course, though, too, isn't it? I mean, that's exactly what happened to cannabis back in the day. That's kind of what's happening to it now. And now we're in the Anslinger moments where we have reefer madness going on with dabs. Everybody's going dab crazy. Like, that's pretty much what I get. Like, right now, the most interesting part is I'm sitting here talking with investors and people who really want to put money into the whole hemp industry. And almost every single one of them wants to ask me about dabs. And it's like, really? Are we even here to talk about something so serious and so major, and you want to ask me about dabs? And not in a way that they are like
What's up with the blowtorch?
Are they like, can I get a dab? Or are they
no,
like,
not even that. Not even, and it's not like I'm going to pull a dab out in front of them. I'm trying to do business, but it's just like that's really all the media is talking about.
Yeah.
So that's to them is, and that's what's making them nervous to invest money into something that is more than legal and has nothing to do with it at all. So you're like, listen, I'm talking about industrial hemp. You're talking about, concentrates that are just what basically causing harm reduction, in my opinion, if you're done right. Done right, harm reduction, obviously explosions, things like that, not harm reduction.
That's jackass. How long I've been making oil for so long
times
with
12.
common sense and precaution that I'll be honest. I mean, me and Adam, you earlier on, dude, we're in the club. I mean, there's people like Scott from Rare Dankness. These are my first dab friends because they're only serious weed people I knew that I knew could handle it. And this is 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We're doing dabs. And when the kids catch on, and really what it was is the revolution in the glass world, because glass was dying, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking nobody was becoming glass artists because it was fucking dead.
Yeah.
And you were coming into my shop and trying to peddle me pipes
Like a spoon,
like a
shitty,
peasant because you were just trying to make
peasant.
your. It was.
No,
I
you're
felt
like a
bad,
peasant
dude.
peddler.
I
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
bad because I didn't want to buy them for this. I was like, dude, I know that costs you more time. Like, how are you getting bullied?
Yeah.
I can't. This isn't China.
Yeah.
Like, I can't buy it that.
So
pipe
you're
from
working
you
for
$10.
$2.15 an hour.
Yeah, they were struggling, dude. And when I started making oil, they started making apparatus. Like this is Joel Halen and Brad and all these guys in Fort Collins. That was just the glass studios I went to. My friends hung out there, so we went there and smoked weed. When people started making oil, they started figuring out clever ways of smoking that shit. Worm, all those dudes were in that first thing, getting those first dabs, and this is fucking 5-6 years ago.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, it changed the entire glass industry,
Oh my God,
and turned in all these kids to needing. Like, I remember asking Paul when he first opened, so what's the rate of dab rigs to bongs? And it started out kind of even.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
Flipped.
he's like, I'm selling 4 dab rigs for every fucking bong I sell.
Yep.
And so, and now the rest of the country is catching on. And they're, like I said, it's funny that they're seeing that the butane explosion is the main story.
Explosion?
The explosions. Like over
I
and
know which
over
way
and
you were
over.
using.
Like,
I was wondering which way we were using.
you're right. Yeah.
The
No
butane
shit. No
explosion.
pun intended.
Right.
And the sad part is they're not listening to the things like, if it wasn't for dabs, not even water hash could do it. So I'm sorry to disappoint all you solventless fans. I'm not afraid to say I consider myself a world-class water hash maker. It's not possible for me to get to the point that I can get to with dabs. The only other crutch I had before was fucking morphine. For 10 years of my life, that's what they were poisoning me with. And until I found the strength and the intensity in the onset instant of a dab, it was, if I sneezed or something, I would have to curl up in pain and worry about how long it was going to take for the morphine I just chewed up. And instead, this was the first thing. I can't smoke 10 joints like out my mouth all at once to get that kind of medicine.
You could do it.
So if they figure out a better...
If they were purple blondes.
If they were grape
blondes.
Of course not joints. That goes without saying.
But that's fucking toilet paper. But,
Grape
but
blondes,
literally
you could
without
use 12, I
that,
think.
that's when I was able to have the confidence to tell the doctor, I still have it. I have the fucking prescription for the time that he gave me morphine, and I was able to go, I show it off. I'm like, look, dude, this isn't what addicts do. I fucking ripped up my morphine sitting inside. I don't want this. This isn't the one I want. I'm doing weed. And that's the story that should be out there. Or the skin cancer curing potential of oil. Instead, monkeys blowing up their apartment complexes
because we're not
with their
talking
child
about
in the
people
ring.
with skin cancer and serious injuries being the kids on the East Coast doing that. I think that's the
East
concern.
Coast. That happens in Colorado. I
And,
can't even,
Happened the other day in
it
Pueblo,
happens,
I think.
yeah,
right?
all over
I
the
used
place
to be able
everywhere.
to say
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I was proud of our state because we had.
Springs, right? It was Colorado Springs.
Was it?
happened. Yeah. It was James, did you know those guys?
Oh man, I used to be proud to say that we didn't have those kind of problems here because we had. I thought I attributed it to a regulated market. I still believe that we have a diminished, based on the popularity of butane hash in Colorado and California. We have a definite substantial difference in the amount of explosions we have happen privately, and I believe that is because we have a regulated.
You mean
market.
like per capita of people who are blasting? How many of them explode?
Per capita of butane hash smokers. Like for the amount of people dabbing in Colorado, there is substantially less accidents,
and for the amount of people making oil, for sure. Yeah,
because
both.
it's a regulated market with educated people that have literally, they're either being regulated as far as a caregiver or dispensary, or they care enough to figure it out. But now, and then like in California, it's just sad. But Matt Rise, I had to block his feed at one point because every fucking day it was a new video of somebody along the West Coast from Washington, Oregon, or California blowing up themselves, their apartment, the whole house off the foundation. Yeah. And it was making me sick because I was actually proud of Colorado, but now I've seen them happening more and more here, and it's just the popularity of the drug is.
Well, yeah, and it's also like the worst part is it's when you read into the article, it's like every time it's a great, oh my God, we just figured this out, and this is
why are fucking rookies still
this
trying
is
to
an
do
alarming
this,
new
dude?
trend.
Yeah, leave it to the. This is what I say all the time.
I love firecrackers, dude.
But you don't make them in
I
your
don't
basement,
fucking
right?
try to make them myself, dude.
Yeah.
And that
like,
it's
there's
like
some things that you just have to enjoy.
Dangerous yourself.
Yeah, there's some things you just have to enjoy and trust somebody else in.
And we're saying this as three pretty DIY. Like I try to make things in my life that I need. I make, but I'm not going to refine my own.
We had a honeybee extractor in like 10 years ago.
Let's talk history of dabs if we can do that for a minute. Like, because I know Bubble Man told me he was dabbing red BHO from India in like the 80s. That some dude was getting.
Dude, I know one of my.
Well, if you're talking about dabbing, you're talking about like
dabbing BHO, butane. Well,
dabbing.
Yeah.
Dabbing
Either way,
is a verb. If you're talking about hash oil, I know dude in the 70s.
Oh, bro, I mean, I was looking
hash
at
and smearing it on his
joints. The honey oil they called it then more. Yeah, they're on Arrowwood. They used to have the basic, pretty straight PVC extraction tube diagrams. I remember looking at that shit in the 90s. But
no, I'm talking about
there's somebody.
Now, do you think it's
I had somebody telling me about doing propane extractions 15 years ago.
Extractions are
people
nothing
were
new. Like
playing.
So do you think it's the ability to dab that made extractions more popular?
I'm telling you, it is the fucking revolution in the apparatus.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Dabs. You think that the technology is what made it more popular?
100%. Because
I agree.
Look, this Max was an employee of mine. This fucking guy had to go home from a dab. I had to send him home because the only apparatus we had to smoke was, again, this was the earliest ages of figuring out a convenient way to use this.
The torch and
the essential vape.
It was before that. It was just the swing, right?
Yeah.
The vape swing, the tie.
No,
pad.
before that even. This is before this. It was fucking hot knives
in
a cone.
Right.
So when that dude came out with this little vial, I didn't care what it looked like. It was the most amazing delivery for my use.
Yeah.
But more people puked off that little thing than I'd ever seen off of anything.
Puked or burned themselves or
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. You guys know a consultant by the name of Chet Rodell by any chance? I will put someone on blast on the air. Apparently he's been going around telling people you can blast BHO, no heat purge for 10 minutes and that shit's done. Put it on your shelf. He's billing himself as a consultant in Colorado. No heat purge 10 minutes. Not more than 10 minutes.
Not more. Like you shouldn't.
You should not. Yeah. This guy's going around Colorado, 2 professional businesses, selling himself as a consultant.
And give me a call, dude, because you're a fucking retard.
Yeah, if anyone knows
him, like I'm just for the sake of yourself, you jackass. It's a simple. At this point, would you say it's an impossibility to have anything purged, even with a magic pump?
Yeah, I'm going to say that's physically impossible.
If you do the D-money. Straight into the bowl.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you're doing the direct inject,
direct nail purge is the only way that's possible, and I'm the only one with that kind of equipment,
technology,
or experience, or cojones. So please, don't try to fucking direct nail purge your BHO.
Nail purge.
No,
I'm serious. Though. What kind of rookies? Like, first of all, I remember the shit I made when I started. If you don't have good equipment, you're not making good shit, and you don't know what you're doing.
Well, that's why wax was so popular because you could
hit impurities.
Well, yeah, you could just sort of whip them in there.
That's why I've hated it from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's the old whip it in there.
Yeah.
Just whip it in.
We'll get it.
Whip it in.
No, dude.
Whip it in. No, in general, I think that is where we definitely never want to pass on such bad information like that.
Yeah, that's
so.
That one the community needs.
If you call yourself a consultant and you don't understand what you're consulting, then you're actually causing harm possibly to people who are investing money, first of all, on you as a consultant. So,
And that's in med, dude.
As
That's
a
not even
cannabis
in rec.
consultant myself, I would have to say that
Okay,
that would,
if
that would
I
go
could
against
get-
our
if I
bar.
could
That would be
get a
like
$1
against the
million
bar. If we were
dollar-
lawyers.
Yeah, you'd be disbarred.
You'd
If
be
you were,
disbarred,
you're
yeah.
can, you're
You would not be allowed.
cannabarred.
Yeah,
You're
you'd be
just
cannabarred.
cannabarred right
Cannabarred.
now.
Can I just get the power to have the consulting police? We'll do the test.
Yeah.
We'll implement the test. I'll fucking grab these dudes off the street in a van.
Yeah.
And say, okay, consultant.
Your career's
what,
over.
what do you consult on? Grow? Okay, here's the grow test.
Yeah.
Take this test.
Yeah.
And I swear to fucking God, if you have choice now. You can either forever relinquish the name consultant, and if you ever use it again, the closest animal next to you might attack your throat.
That could be.
Or you can say you're a liar. Either way, or you can pass the test.
Well, it's a
or
tough
you can
thing.
pass the test,
It is-
and
it
I'm
is-
going to say this dude is certified. He knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Sure.
But the next time I hear somebody talking about being a consultant,
With
walking into a
3 years
powdery mildew garden,
and
I
telling
mean a powdery mildew garden where they're growing.
See, they're not really
powdery
growing weed
mildew,
there. They're growing
and
powdery
the off
mildew.
product is weed, and you have a consultant telling you to spray fucking baking soda and water after the lights go off,
Yeah.
and they're being paid as a consultant.
Yeah.
I don't care the age of the old lady. I'll have my grandma beat her up. How's that? Is that a correct statement?
Yes, this is an actual event. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dude, I'm like, seriously. From
Yes.
then,
Yeah.
I started, that was the first point. I was like, dude, there's cannabis consultants everywhere.
Yeah.
You don't even have to grow cannabis in your life, and you can be a cannabis consultant.
True. No, and that is one of the things that I brought it, I think, up last week, that I started with my first card as a cannabis consultant around 93, and I was like, I must be one of a handful in the world, like me and Ed and 5 other guys or whatever. And then, sure enough, here we are. And I every other person is a consultant, And it's
I would bet right now,
amazing.
if you are
and if you
a
see some of the
consultant-
gardens that some of the people who are consultants, if you see the garden that they produce, you're just like, you're in shock.
What are you consulting on?
You
How to
know,
waste
like,
money?
It's like, are you breeding bugs or buds or what's going on here? I don't get it. There's an amazing amount of because the thing is, you can get it to a point. You're not at that point that you would call yourself a consultant,
Right.
And growing and especially people who grow down in their basement and have 10 lights maybe, and now they think they can grow 100 lights because they take 10 multiplied by 10 equals 100.
The ultimate.
And
veil.
to be quite honest, I saw a room the other day, and it was like the idea that they had was to have 14 reservoirs in this room, instead of having one outside that would feed everything and then dump it back out, and there were like 14 in the room. I'm like, who's going to be pHing? There's going to be pHing all day long. pHing, and if you fuck up, you're going to be dumping whole resis all day long because I think if you did 14 in a row, you're going to fuck one up. It's guaranteed because you fuck one up even if you try to do one sometimes. You're like,
how many rows did we have?
Dude, it's like
4 per room. Only 8. I think you can scale up.
But 14 in a room with
In
30
one-
lights.
yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
30
Oh,
lights.
man.
I'm not talking like a 300 light room.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking a 30 light room with 14 reses. So things like that just mathematically don't make any sense.
It's like you make a good batch of cookies and you're like, I could run Nabisco, no problem. I could just pump those things out. Fire the elves. I got this.
The first thing we told him was like, take all these. Did you just take these back? They're like $300 each or something. They're really expensive. They're big resis. They're like $250. Take those back. I just saved you. 14 times 3, right? Bam. Like start marking this off. And that's the thing. A lot of times people don't realize as a consultant, a lot of consultants go out there to sell people stuff, and that's not really the idea. The idea is to tell people what they don't need because they've wasted 30 grand on this whole, like, why do you have all these lights all lined up with 14 in a row?
We're gonna have
with one
to get the
giant
film crew.
extractor on the end. They're not equally being pulled out. And first
Garden
of all,
nightmares.
why not just throw them all away and put some EPAPs or some Gavitas up there, and you got to 40 tons on the roof. You know what I mean? There's like just people, they have it. They just don't understand how to put it together. So all of you people out there with big problems, if you have some consulting time, give me a shout. I'll save you 40 grand in the first 5 minutes, guaranteed, as long as you spent a few hundred grand.
No, the new fun lesson is let me see your invoices. Let me see your receipts.
Yeah.
Let me look at what you paid.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to tell you what I could have done it for or what I could have had it done for.
Sure.
And then we'll go from there. So not just you could have saved, you just cost yourself $45,000.
Well, yeah, and
do you
or
want to do the same room with that way, or do it
and
this
or a lot
way?
of times it's not even that. A lot of times it's the guy who's setting up the grow room gets the stars in his eyes because he's in charge of all this money now. He's got $250,000 to build this room. And he spends all of a sudden invoices. If you start looking at them, you start going, wait. So you paid 4 times as much for what I would pay. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? And it's like people got inside scoops.
So those
they're
black
working with
pots were a special deal, and they cost you $16 each.
Yeah, instead of $1.80 like they should have if you
Yeah.
went to American Clay or whatever. So it's like, so at the end of the day, you're like, okay, there's somebody getting paid on the side, and that's the problem. Is a lot of times people when they're setting up a room, they want to get paid before the room's even made any money. So to all those guys who call themselves master growers out there, watch out. We got your number. We know what's up. We know what's up with your padded numbers.
It's like the $200 hammer in the military.
Exactly.
It's
Same
the
story.
principle.
Same story. A little
What?
easier to sort of hide sometimes than that, but you know, $50 per light on 1,000 lights is a lot of money.
What is the
$50,000? What's that?
The largest yield on an indoor 1,000 watt you've ever heard of?
Like single light, you're saying?
Single light.
Heard of and believe close to, I'd say like a 2.5 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
Like that would be like what I would believe. I've heard up to 5s and 6s and 9s and stupid numbers that make no sense. Even if you went in a 360-degree octagon
tree,
and designed it so that
Right.
it was the most efficient thing in the world. No, I don't think you get over 3. I think 3 would be the key. Like that would be just falling over itself, and you would run out of room and you run out of light. It's almost like speakers. You got to imagine light is like speakers and sound. If you have a system that's only allowed to like you say you have 500 people at a party, and you have a system which is big enough for those people. Take those people away, and that system sounds totally different, right? Put the people in front of it; it absorbs all the sound. It's the same similar sort of thing with the light. The light is absorbed by the plants, and there's an absorption factor, and you can only absorb so much of the light. So there is a certain squareage, you know, and even less this stuff is solid and it has no, you know, there's no branching. It's just pure bud, and there's like not a single branch holding up the bud. There's only so much you could pull up, and I would say 3 pounds would have to be the limit, just because I've seen 2 pounds of light with your stuff, and
Yeah, like I've got
and those
pictures
are
of
pretty
2.2, and I can't imagine. Like when I see people throw around the 2.2, I fucking lived on a cot in that grow,
Yeah.
and didn't leave it for like a month at a time just to babysit the screens, and literally that was the greatest thing we'd ever seen, and I've got pictures of it, and when I look at it, it's still unfathomable. And
I mean,
so
you
when
could
hear
squeeze. You
people-
could squeeze another. You could definitely squeeze another couple 100 grams, probably just by cramming whatever, however, growing maybe an extra 1 or whatever. But once you start talking pounds more or doubling that, it's like, come on now. Because didn't we hear some stupid number?
5 pounds per
I
plant.
don't buy that.
Per
5
plant or
pounds per plant
per 1 light.
proved 77 times.
Oh yeah, that's what we heard the other day. Grown 77 cycles.
He's done 77 cycles like this.
5 pounds per light.
5 pounds per light.
Let me see it. Let me see it. Let me see
asked
the bud.
I asked if we're talking about wet weight, if we're
Yeah,
talking
pound-
about the
is that
whole
just
plant.
Yeah, is that
wet.
pounds of plant, like including stem?
So we're gonna have to.
I'm trying to
We're
get
getting
to
down
the
to our last few minutes, right? Okay, so we're gonna get down to our last few minutes.
Wind up.
Wind up. Shout out to the farm.
Way to grow.
No, the farm mostly. Not the farm out there. My farm.
I know.
Mommy's farm.
I'm reminding
Shout out
you
to.
of your.
Oh, I'll get to them. First, mom.
You giving shout outs?
Shout outs to my
Shout
mom.
outs to mom last.
No, mom, right now.
That should be your peace out to aces. The last
right
thing.
now. We've already gone too long on it. Peace out. No. Shout out to Way to Grow, of course, our number one sponsor, and big things coming with them for the 420 this year at the lab. So keep your ears out. I can't announce anything until it's official as a whistle. But we also this Friday we have our First Friday / Jenny Cush birthday extravaganza. Can I say that?
You can use that word. That's okay.
I didn't say extra vagina at least. So, yeah, usually that's how I say it. Extravaganza. It's going to be a fundraiser for Jenny Cush, 6 to 8, and then from 8 till 1 midnight or so is the last installment of the Fear and Loathing Across America. They're going to move on and go to other states finally. They loved us so much. They were here for 4 months. But it has been a really cool show. Awesome work. Sean Dietrich and Vincent Gordon. 12 new artists, so it's going to be an awesome experience that night with lots and lots of new people, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be our first like springy vibed one too, because the weather looks okay. So 3354 Larimer Hood Lab if you're in Colorado or in Denver, or hopefully even easier. And
Or if you're from elsewhere, just travel.
Just get on a plane. You have a day to get
Get
here.
in the car.
Hurry up.
Get in the car. Get over here.
I'm going to give a shout out to Dompy, who's one of our dedicated listeners out there now. He said he's the one who gave us the Adam Dunn Show American flag logo. He's got a few more coming. So Got him on board. We got actually starting to get a few listeners. I think people are kind of missing us out in the Amsterdam, so they want to get a few, and they know this is the spot. I mean, come on.
Are they finally admitting it?
Back, Dompy?
They have to. Dompy's coming. He's going to be here for April. We're going to do a show with him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he's going to come and bring some new material and take his old stuff back since I screwed up. Booyah! Yeah, I figured that was the best case.
He's got to come. You got to come repossess your art.
Exactly. Shout out to Nick. Little DJ Nick,
always listening,
feeling better now.
He's in
finally,
the chat room all the time.
Oh, he's on that. He's really good typer too. You notice for 2 years old, for a little less under 2, he's already nailed it.
It's amazing how quickly children are picking up today's electronics.
Yeah. Shout out to CC, obviously, up on the Blue Mountain. We'll come back and I'll be home soon. Gotta go to the farm though. We're on our way to the farm, and we'll give you. And 315 update for Big Mike since he's always crying. 7 weeks in right now, the beginning of the 7th week. We are starting to flush, so we will give you the double update as it comes in. But smells are on point. Everything is there. We had one bent one from Schwartz. He bent one on us and kind of screwed it up. But besides that, it was looking pretty dope. Huh? Pretty dope. Got a few weirdos though. Got a few seed weirdos.
Anomalies.
A couple of weird. Yeah, it's looks like a Grinspoon style. Yeah, those are big yielders. Those are great yielders. Yeah. Shout out to everybody else out there that I forgot, and we'll see you next week on the Adam Dunn Show. Later.